And now, our feature presentation.
I was wondering when you were playing there before I stopped. Oh, beautiful. all around.
Hey guys, it's Scarfy.
I'm Naka.
And I'm Krüz.
And welcome to Subwuffer Entertainment Treehouse, I said the treehouse thing, I should not have done that. Welcome to Subwuffer Entertainment, a determinedly drunk, geeky, and cheerful podcast where wolves we house and extremely entertain, bringing you all latest entertainment news. So that's a lot like a music appreciation class to talk about what's going on in certain topics and see how people react to them in certain ways. And that song that you were listening to was...
Krüz.
Don't believe it as a particular name. If it does, I don't know it. Is a video that is... I'm reaching into depths of trying to get around copyrighted stuff. That is just Tavern, Irish Tavern music from I forget where, unless it was Dublin specifically, but fits for an intro, I suppose.
Yes, I wholeheartedly agree. So guys, we've been gone for quite a while.
Money.
And I'll fucking do it again.
Yes, and that was not at all of our intent to be gone for that long. Just for the record, S.E.T has been brought to you by Streamlabs. We are a non-profit podcast, but we use this as our go-to for making more episodes and help them be bigger and better than ever before by purchasing equipment or other visual means. Please don't feel obligated. We are not asking for money to pay the rent, but if you have the heart to donate, it is greatly appreciated. So, how is everyone doing tonight? I saw a whole bunch of movies. I had a lot of homework that I had to get done because, it's crunch time. I have to get ready for MFF, quite busy. And on top of that, we had to work on a show today. We recently made I believe we recently made the news that we are going to be time capsuling, in quotes there, episode 76, and we are moving on right to episode 77. And we
it's
hope that we
too easy to say it, and honestly, a lot of the jokes piss me off. But because Bethesda is so insistent on continuing to dig their own grave, at least our episode is still somehow more functional than 76.
I mean,
to be honest, I gave it a real college try, and I had some fun with it. I played with our friend from the Seattle area, actually. But
I mean, you might as well.
It's just kind of like. Yeah.
Right. I mean, we might as well give it that. I mean, it's almost as if we have just this whole bunch of things that we have to get taken care of.
Title the Bethesda episode or something.
So, guys, we as I said before, we're going to be broadcasting episode 76 post commentary privately. We will come up with a date ourselves. We don't know exactly when we're going to be doing it. We hope that we'll be able to do it.
I kind of want to do it after Thanksgiving, just because I got family stuff coming up the next couple of weeks.
I do want to. I hope that we can get it done at least before Christmas, if that's any chance. But of course, I do agree with that. Anyway, guys. Well, before we get started with our show, Nako, do you have anything you want to say before we actually get started?
Well, October 27th, y'all remember when we were supposed to stream on that day, but then my computer decided, no, I'm going to give you the finger, and then you realize that you're low on memory, like random access memory, so it's impossible for you to open up a program, try to get a stream started on time after you restart your computer. Yeah, that's not an issue anymore, because with some money from the S.E.T kind of pool that we have now upgraded from 8 gigabytes to 16 gigabytes on this rig, and it is butter.
Oh, you're very, very happy about this.
Things that I used to struggle with, like trying to play automation while watching a Twitch stream, no longer an issue.
It no longer exists. It is butter to you.
Yes, it is butter.
All right. Well, before we get started, I do want to make
I've also been playing Need for Speed Heat.
We'll get into that later.
Quick little plug for http://twitch.tv/rkd_sub. Find me over there. And I might be streaming after this. I don't know, over there on Twitch. Playing some Need for Speed Heat, but I'll talk about that more later.
Okay, before we get started on our show, I do want to mention that I do have to break some unfortunate news for our broadcast, for our audience today, because we kind of kept it hush-hush and we didn't really tell anyone about this. So it goes without saying that This episode is unfortunately going to be our finale. I know we are pretty much ending on a very, usual earlier note than we usually do. Usually we tend to end around,
early to mid-December.
yeah, and we just figured that it's just a good resting place for us to stop and we recuperate.
2019 has been busy as shit for us.
We just had...
You got
we've had a lot to
Jackass
do.
number 1 over there going to MFF in a few weeks.
Jackass number 1, excuse me.
And the cat.
Yeah, I mean, like...
all these jackasses are thinking of the dissolution of the Austro-Hungarian Empire and how it affects the whole of Central Europe and Europe as a whole!
But, anyway, guys, this is going to be our finale, so we have a lot to cover with, and we don't really have any time to dawdle, so we're just going to go ahead and jump
I don't have a lot to cover. I don't.
Well, you know what I mean. We have a lot to go over because whether or not you're talking, you're still part of the show, and you have to sit through it whether you like it or not. And it should be...
I have to monitor everything, I can't just, be like, oh, I'm just going to go play Need for Speed while you guys talk.
Anyway.
I can't do that.
No, you cannot. Anyway, we are going to move on with Krüz with music. Krüz, you have a lot to cover today.
Somewhat.
Someone make a t-shirt. Please, someone make a t-shirt. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, Krüz, continue.
Okay. The reason he said that is because, as being with the finale and the tradition that I, for myself, have created, we're going to go for the top 10 albums. But before that, there's some prominent news that's happened in music. The only release we have that's coming out this time, or for this near future, is Celine Dion. Courage, a fiery album cover looking thing. So following
Courage, the Cowardly Dog Show. Sorry.
Shut up, dog. It's like, you make me look bad. So yeah, already this year we've had a DragonForce cover of My Heart Will Go On to finish off their album this year, Extreme Power Metal, which that was excellent. Celine Dion is now going to put out a 2019 album of her own, Courage, on November 15th. And wasn't really sure what it would sound like, since I'd really only known Celine Dion like music in context of movies mainly, especially Beauty and the Beast and Titanic, and then of course Deadpool 2. I almost forgot about that, and then I saw like a picture when I was searching up the thing. I'm like, oh, right. And so yeah, I mean, as far as the song that's linked here is dance music, doesn't sound that bad. I think I forgot to do the title, but it's something about flight. I think it was the title, but I realized I forgot to put that in post. But honestly, and I saw another interesting note that said that this is it differentiated this as being an English album versus the others. I don't know if she sings in other languages. I assume maybe she does. I mean, I don't know other bands do it. Hell, Avenged Sevenfold sung in Spanish. Icelandic Bowl band is sung in English. Faroese band is sung in Danish and English. You can do whatever you want. But November 15th is when this one will come out. Be brave. Stay wild.
What?
So I'm going to go ahead and...
Hey, you're not Coyote Peterson.
I'm Cody Peterson. I'm about to enter the burn zone with this fire.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter the bite zone and see how powerful this wolf bite is, while also being stung by the Japanese giant hornet.
Yeah.
It almost seems like it almost seems like this one stupid, what is that called, where the guy literally like takes stings.
Yeah, that's
Coyote Peterson.
Great
But
Wilderness.
he's doing it for science and documentation, because he has to show people how painful it is.
Okay, no, but seriously, Celine Dion, I was...
Not even that,
okay.
But consider this, that, I mean, beyond just committing for YouTube purposes, but he has never sworn, and I really, not even like bleeped out, unless they edit out some of the stuff where he did swear, but...
Okay, I do have to mention one thing. Celine Dion is actually a really good artist, at least for me. I understand it may not appeal to the metal and rock and roll crowd, but you know, it's like she got to where she is today because of how she did. Like, you know, she started off, you know, singing, competing in Eurovision, and that's how she got popular as she is today. So it's pretty amazing, in my opinion. She also tours in, I believe it's Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
And
she
that
has
is
like
a
a
real place. I can confirm that. I don't know if she's been there.
She has like a concert where I think she has like a contract where I think she's supposed to perform, like, you know, while she's not on, you know, basically while she's there, pretty much.
I've seen scheduled concerts around Vegas when I went there.
But anyway, I don't really have much to say regarding it. I do like some of her music that she's made. I may not like every single song. I do think Beauty and the Beast was a really good song for her to sing. But that's really all I have to say regarding Celine Dion. Naka, I'm kind of expecting a little bit of flack from you on this one.
Let's see. On my non-existent watch, it's telling me that the time is I don't give a fuck about Celine Dion time.
Really? Yeah, well, that didn't take long.
Good artist, don't like her music. Simple as that.
Okay.
It's like, oh, hey, I'm going to go to Vegas. You know, who goes to Vegas and says, I'm going to go see Celine Dion? No, you go to Vegas. You go to Vegas for blackjack and hookers.
Yeah, well.
Fucking bitch.
I will wonder to this day if South Park ever decides to go to Vegas, but that will be another time for another. That will be another day for another time.
I'm Brad.
Anyway,
down to Takerty Farms.
Anyway, that is all I have to say regarding Celine Dion. Krüz, what's next?
Yeah, the only thing I would comment beyond what I said is I don't know how much, because some of the songs are like different. I don't know how much if she mixed like the electronic dance one, or if she obviously had a backing band for the other thing. But I mean, those are all just like beyond surface questions, which
I'm pretty sure everyone is excited for this.
So yeah, first of all, this was the way that this and the next thing were announced, kind of like really fed off each other. But this one, after 6 years, hey, Azkaban, of speculation, emo kids everywhere are rejoicing as My Chemical Romance. After years and years of waiting, they finally united again. I'm back in middle school. I've only myself listened to a few of them, namely Black Parade, Mama, Teenagers, and Blood. Those are the ones I could just name off the top of my head. I know that Black Parade is a whole. It's like Black Parade for MCR fans is like American Idiot for Green Day fans. So I understand that kind of like that's the kind of album to go to for them. Specifically, that reunion show is happening in Los Angeles on December 20th, rather. Tickets, I believe the date is right because I keep getting confused because after living in Europe for a few months, you realize that they flipped the date, and also that with my studies, some of the European sources have the dates. They put the number for the month. But yes, the tickets are on sale now. Assuming the date's right, it was November 1st, so tickets are on sale now for those in the Los Angeles area. I don't know what other dates are there as of yet, but it is all coming together in 2019.
So I believe you're a huge fan of My Chemical Romance, aren't you, Naka?
No.
I don't know about huge. When you say huge fan, it's like a general fan.
Remember all the dirty looks, your photographs your boyfriend took. Remember when you broke your foot by jumping out the second floor of...
No, but really, what do you have to say regarding
It's
this?
not my band. It's not my band. Emo rock isn't necessarily my thing.
Okay. I do wonder how it's become so popular as it is. I find it interesting.
Thing of its time, really.
I think it's like just as movies get it, and I saw those video games too, more so for nostalgia in that video game regard, but cult following with like music like Tool and My Chemical Romance. It's just because I guess it also helps if it's not really I guess an advisable market ploy, but if not to say that this was, I highly doubt it. They had legitimate reasons for doing whatever they've done, but going dark and then coming back, just sort of being underground, so to speak, or like getting the rumors of coming back together.
It's kind of amazing how
Once those rumors start up, I guess you can say it's a little market thing, but
I just find it kind of amazing how, particularly this particular game. I mean, I'm sorry, not game. I'm not sorry. Band, like, is only known for that one song, which is Black Parade, and I never understood why.
well, Black Parade's the album too, which I think I know that the other song Mama is on it. I don't know about Teenagers in Blood, but that is, I mean to say that when I mentioned American Idiot, because kind of like Black Parade is kind of like their Boulevard of Broken Dreams, so to
Right.
speak, I guess.
Basically.
Pretty much in your middle school rock playlist.
Yep.
And now speaking of rock, we get more. So, that aside, you get something else. Because
Ozone Parade!
Because in the words of the late Billy Mays, but wait, there's more. That more consists of Rage Against the Machine. Beyond just announcing a reunion, they've also announced I believe, 5 2020 tour dates, mostly in the American Southwest. They're going to be playing one music festival there or something, I think. This one had a bit of an asterisk. However, an update in the article has said that a, quote, longtime associate of the band confirmed that the Twitter and Instagram post of the official Rage Against the Machine social media accounts regarding the 2020 tour dates is accurate. Also, guitarist Tom Morello has also posted that. So we can confirm that their intentions are at least serious. We don't know much beyond those tour dates. Don't know anything about tickets, at least not that I've seen yet. But this only really serves to cement 2019 as the year of fucking finally with music. I mean, I like Rage Against the Machine, but I don't follow them as extensively as other bands. I don't even do the same for My Chemical Romance, but you can still recognize that I wasn't waiting along with the rest of the Tool and Rammstein fans about the new albums, but I still, joined in and I was like, okay, I realize how long it's been, and I go back and listen to the old stuff, not for MCR and Rage Against the Machine, but for the others. But yeah, 2019 is the year almost unprecedented that a lot of long-awaited things have come together. As I mentioned, Tool and Rammstein, we're still waiting on you, System of a Down, but you work your whatever out. But yeah, a lot of stuff coming together in 2019. So we'll see if that means that 2020 is going to be an even bigger year for new albums, depending on how quickly either of these groups can get back into the studio.
Mm-hmm. I don't really have much to say regarding Rage Against the Machine because I'm more, I don't want to sound biased, but I am kind of more excited regarding this next piece of news that I would like Krüz to announce. As for you, Naka?
Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me.
I mean, I know it's Veterans Day tomorrow, but remember, some of those that work forces are the same that burned crosses.
Okay.
No, those who
Get
died are justified for making a name their chosen whites.
No, but really, Naka.
Sorry.
What do you have to say? What do you have to say regarding this?
I like Rage Against the Machine a lot.
Okay.
Like of the two, kind of like reunion news announcements, I was more excited for this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Rage Against the Machine's fucking awesome.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
I had a political science professor, Leahy, who is become friends on Facebook with her son, told me that she and her son are both in a metal and they both love Rage Against the Machine. She was like, just quote, like, killing in the name of. I used a Megadeth in class for like a song representing political current things. And that specifically was Lying in State off of Dystopia, which is a very, telling it how it is kind of song.
Basically.
But yeah. So there's it's a nice feeling to see like a lot of this long way of stuff finally come together. And some, even then, you can include the next thing in some of the finally news because I can't breathe. Finally is regarding at least Judas Priest and Motorhead because they are finally on the ballot for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Now this does put a smile on my face. Plus, there's Soundgarden.
Yes.
And other actual rock groups on the ballot, such as Pat Benatar, Doobie Brothers, Depeche Mode, Thin Lizzy, Nine Inch Nails, etc.
Trent Reznor did the soundtrack. I don't like dying.
Trainers are just saying, I don't like dying. Got him. Mark Zuckerberg. The French. So this source from Loudwire has a leaderboard and also has a link for voting embedded there. So if you want to, you just click it out or just go after the show and cast your ballot. I believe it's kind of also like the football, Pro Bowl voting. You can vote as many times as you want, but I think it's like once per day or something. As we were last checking, the leaders, what does it say? Now, I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, but I think you know who kind of deserves it most. Judas Priest. Motorhead. In other news, this news has got the attention of former Judas Priest guitarist KK Downing, and it may mean that he could potentially be able to join Judas Priest for a Hall of Fame performance, which would probably help considering how, Glenn Tipton is kind of, as great of a guitarist as he is, he's up there in years and is unfortunately suffering from Parkinson's. But we do know that they're on the ballot, and they are, last I checked, Judas Priest and Motorhead, I think, are both in the top 5. I want to do something a little on the fly. If I can. Oh my god, I hate this website. As much as I like how reliable stuff from Loudwire is, the website has so many like little pop-up things that it just makes your computer just like crap its pants. And here we go. Fan vote 2020. So we have in first place Dave Matthews Band, second place Pat Benatar, third place Doobie Brothers, fourth place Soundgarden, and fifth Judas Priest. And that in the top 5 are the ones that will be inducted. And then from there, 6, you have Depeche Mode, Whitney Houston, Thin Lizzy, Motorhead, Nine Inch Nails, Ton Rundgren, T-Rex, The Notorious B.I.G., Kraftwerk, Rufus featuring Chaka Khan, and MC5. So let's get Motorhead back in there and boost up Judas Priest. Why don't we, huh?
So I'm going to say this right now.
Or Biggie Smalls.
So I'm going to say this right now. Why the hell do we have people who are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that are not part of rock and roll? No offense.
I don't know. It's at this point, it seems to not even matter anymore because already such a precedent has been set that it doesn't matter. Obviously, you're not going to see Lady Gaga or
I would
hope to God 21 Pilots or Imagine Dragons on this list because fuck that shit. But
you don't like Imagine Dragons, do you?
Fuck them. They're pop music. Ooh, they're rock music. They're rock music.
It's so
overrated. But I like Welcome to the New Age.
You mean Radioactive? You dumb cunt.
Yes.
This part of this partially right, but I mean that considering the bar has been set low, not for who can, but who has, and obviously this also doesn't include the fact that Iron Maiden is not yet been inducted. I want to look up. See what someone says. Yeah. Slayer is not even in yet. They've been eligible since 2009. And also the eligibility...
Ineligible?
They've been eligible since 2009. I believe the...
Okay.
I don't know all the specifics, but I know that one of them is they have to have been a band for at least 25 years. Judas Priest has fulfilled that requirement twice over. They have been around since their founding in 1969, half of a fucking century. It's time to give the devil his due.
All right.
Put them in the Hall of Fame. And Motorhead while you're at it.
Why do we... Yeah, and why haven't these other people been on the Hall of Fame yet?
It's just a matter of timing, people like raising the issue.
Like Ozzy Osbourne.
There was a little issue with Motorhead because with a nomination, and this is what I mentioned a while ago with how Clapton managed to get in 3 times because he was with a solo act, Cream, and I forget some other group, but it's because inducting a band into the Hall of Fame, that doesn't retroactively induct all of the past members.
Yeah.
So there were former members, I think Mickey D and someone else from Motorhead that weren't involved, and then because of fan protest, they got added to the list of the band members.
Right.
So
that makes
that's
sense.
a little bit of a discrepancy or whatever things that go on. I'm hoping that Judas Priest can keep it up. At least if we get one of them, that's definitely a win. But I think both of them definitely really deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. And also, of the others I mentioned, I'd probably pick Depeche Mode and Thin Lizzy. Nine Inch Nails is great, but I haven't listened to them too much to know. I actually did get to see a guitarist from Thin Lizzy play with Black Star Riders when they opened for Judas Priest.
Really?
And also, speaking of Depeche Mode and Rammstein both being mentioned, I was turned on to the cover of Stripped, song by Depeche Mode that was covered by Rammstein. And mainly thanks to the Game Grumps, because Danny, who is more of a music fan, liked to talk about the Till's voice. Come with me. Yeah. That's news there. And you can see all the other nominees on the list.
In the link. Hey, Naka, what do you have to say regarding the Hall of Fame?
Soundgarden or bust.
Soundgarden is bad?
No,
bust.
No.
Not
Put
and
Soundgarden
bust or
into the
bust.
Hall of Fame. Chris Cornell at least deserves to be remembered for something, and putting him in the Hall of Fame with Soundgarden would be fucking great.
Yeah. So, and also, I like this. It's just a little thing, but of a interview with Phil Anselmo of Pantera saying that currently Soundgarden's in 4th, just above Judas Priest, but voting is capped at 1 ballot per day. You can just make like you can sign in with I think Google or Facebook and just like get that option done. I'm probably gonna do it again.
Wow.
But yeah. So this is for 2020. Just no rush, but just if you want to throw your votes in, I suppose being that some elections just happened this past week, 'tis the season for voting.
Yes. That's all I have to say regarding the the Hall of Fame inductees, but and Naka, anything else you want to say?
Soundgarden or bust.
All right.
Yeah. And that little thing I mentioned, I forgot, I didn't finish it, but there's an interview with Philip Anselmo saying that the only person who broke more chairs or stools in the studio than me was Chris Cornell. And knowing who Philip Anselmo is, you can imagine what that speaks to Chris Cornell and how insistent they are to be a great artist. But yeah, rest in peace. Hopefully he can do you justice posthumously.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be a disservice to Soundgarden in literally all of his projects. But whatever, we move on to Krüz's top 10 albums of 2019.
Yes, please try. Yeah, Krüz.
Which unfortunately has no theme, intro music, or anything.
It's fine. Krüz, just try not to go too slow, okay?
Yeah, not go too slow.
All
But
right.
before we start, we're gonna do a little recap.
We need to shut up because this is his piece, not mine.
All right.
The first, so the top, well, not top yet. I can't speak my words. The past winners have been, since I started doing this, was the 2016 Sabaton won with The Last Stand. Overkill won in 2017 with The Grinding Wheel. Judas Priest won with Firepower in 2018. And that one you see on your screen is the one that comes in at number 10. That is HammerFall Dominion.
Okay, so one thing I always wanted to know regarding HammerFall is the reason why they're called HammerFall is because of Queen's Hammer to Fall.
I imagine that's probably some factor into it because some of their riffs have like some classic rock vibe. And also HammerFall has a song called Let the Hammer Fall. Also have a song called HammerFall, but I think it's more related to Norse mythology, but I think that there is some merit to that thinking possibility. But yeah, like any rock group worth their salt. When I said that Built to Last was a hard-hitting album and that the band was absolutely built to last, I was apparently mistaken again because they blew that last one out of the water. Not really, but they did justice after Built to Last. While there are some ballads, of course, present on this album, Dominion seems to feature more classic metal and rock sounding riffs. And my favorite song personally being Testify, which follows the Painkiller riff structure. Never Forgive, Never Forget, rather, is a close second for a favorite. The title track itself is a marching, bombastic rock riff that describes a battle between the forces of heaven and hell.
That's pretty bombastic.
What more can you ask for?
Yep.
So yeah, the highlights of this are definitely Never Forgive, Never Forget, Dominion, Testify, One Against the World, We Make Sweden Rock, Dead by Dawn, and Bloodline. And I also got to see them with Sabaton. They opened for Sabaton when it came to Silver Spring, and it was quite a great show.
I'm glad to hear.
So another band. Of course, they make Sweden rock because they're from Sweden, and that is also a song as a tribute to, fellow Swedish rockers. No, Yngwie Malmsteen and Sabaton among them. So next is another Norse band, but this one comes from the Faroe Islands, straight from the depths of hell.
I do have to use the restroom. I'll be right back. Go on.
All right.
Go ahead.
So they've been one of the figureheads of folk Viking metal, as the genre is generally known.
Tier.
Yeah, technically it's like folk metal or melodic death metal from Amarth, but like
I really love the album.
It's somewhat acceptable to call it Viking metal because that does kind of describe the topic. That doesn't describe the music itself, which is what Amarth has said. Like they didn't fucking play guitar. They played fucking jaw harps and horns and bongos and shit. Yeah.
For the record, Krüz, I really like the album cover.
Yeah, I think this is definitely one of the coolest album covers this year. Rivaling the whoever the artist is of the Amon Amarth albums. There's a lot of their foreground, background, everything. Garmer, the wolf, the blood-stained hound, guardian of the gates of hell, growling in the midground at the souls marching out of hell, and the castle and shit in the background. I think it's a really cool structure, and the logo is present but not obtrusive. Aesthetic chef's kiss. But yeah, this was another themed album from them. Theme one that I'd mainly listened to before this was Valkyria. All the songs, of course, being mainly about the Valkyries or in some form or another. With this one, not all of the songs are about hell, either the goddess or the realm, since both of them go by the same name. Or unless you want to differentiate that and say Helheim, but most people just shorten it to Hell, H-E-L. But a few of them are, such as especially Gates of Hell or Garmer, which is that woo you see in the midground. The highlights of... Yeah. Just a little bit awkward. I don't think they speak Finnish. They speak mainly Faroese and Danish. But the highlights of this definitely are Gates of Hell, the opening song, Garmer, Sunset Shore, Downhill Drunk, Empire of the North, and Fire and Flame, which I think that song, the last song, has probably the greatest, like one of the coolest solos I've ever heard. Because it just like it, both Harry and the other guitar player, one of the guitar players is also the singer. I don't know the other's name, but singer, guitar player is Harry. They just, man, it's a work of art, that solo.
Yeah, it's.
I think this is definitely
Solo
a really good
C.
album. Solo C.
It's
Solos.
from Through the Fire and Flames by DragonForce. I'm fucking with
Solo
you.
C.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
unfortunately, Fire and Flame. Unfortunately, no string breaking at the end. And yeah, fun fact: if you listen to that song, Through the Fire and Flames, you listen to the last few seconds, you hear that bow. That is Herman Lee's string breaking. Interesting little aside there.
Wait,
and-
was that intentional or accident?
It was an accident.
But it
But
was
they
so good they left it.
They kept it in the recording. It sounded. I didn't even realize that. Like, if I first listened to it, you wouldn't know that that's what string breaking during a song sounds like. Because normally that is an issue when bands play live. That's more of a concern because you can't. In a studio, you could just stop recording and go get another guitar. But live, you have to finish the song.
Why would you need to get another guitar when you can just replace the string? I never understood that.
Well, I guess one is quicker than the other, but
I get it. Like you have a spare guitar that just
usually bands do that. At least one of the more practical cases is because of songs that are played in different tunings at live shows. But like, say you happen to have another guitar handy, you can just use that, unless there's a specific reason that one guitar gives you a better tone. And yeah, I'm sort of buying time for sure, so we can look at this wolf. They've definitely looked up the album on Google Images. You'll get a high quality art of this, and I think, I don't know the artist, but I think they did a fucking incredible job. Definitely, if nothing else, probably the best album artwork of all the rest of these albums.
All right.
But the next one, intricate, blue themed, still probably gonna trip you up, maybe a little bit more. But have no fear for Tool.
It's Tool time.
No, really, you're really gonna reference Home Improvement seriously?
Fucking
Home. Out of all the things you could mention, it had to be fucking Home Improvement. Seriously?
don't you dare
Tool
disrespect
time.
Tim Allen in my presence.
I've been wanting to make that joke for months.
All right. Well, come on.
Suppose now's the time. We'll never. Having not done a lot of listening to Tool aside from 46 and 2, mainly because that song is one of the best riffs, or the most, earworm riffs I've ever heard.
I was the one who got you into Schism, probably my favorite.
I knew
song.
it was a song, but I didn't listen to it mainly for it. But 46 and 2, Schism being the. You get a lot more intricate stuff like that in this album as well.
And and for the record, everyone who is part of Tool is a goddamn genius. Just saying.
Okay, Java is not okay.
To the point where Maynard James Keenan is like, "Hey, no phones. You can take some pictures, but put your phone down."
Yeah,
Basically.
there was a fun little aside. There's a little comment,
And I respect
on that.
him for that.
There's a comment about that. As much as like Sabaton's okay, most of the phones. I mean, they'll like do the thing where they take someone's phone and like show it around stage and then give it back. But I think I draw the line personally with either if you have your phone the entire time, or if for any amount of time you have a fucking iPad. I will break that over my knee. Do not take your iPads to a concert, please. But yeah, Sabaton, after they played, apparently for the first time, I don't know how true this is, but for the first live performance of 7 Pillars of Wisdom, Joachim said after the song that this was the first live performance, and we didn't tell you that before the show because if we knew if we did that, you would all have your phones recording it, and then there would be evidence if we fucked up. as is their stage banter. But yeah, Tool's place in metal and the cult following they have, which I mentioned with music, they likewise, again, 19 being the year of long-awaited returns. Tool is among them, and I think it's definitely an intricate, elegantly crafted album. It didn't like blow me away, but I mean, here's what I think about, like, the songs were good, but I think, like, I tend like progressive metal more so like Gojira in terms of like technical, like in Meshuggah, like technical, like sometimes it's like speed or like skill in playing, but which Tool definitely has, especially on Tempest, which I think is one of the top songs, along with the title track in Numa, and then Descending. I mean, the other songs are just like little like interlude ones. The only, I guess, one of those worth listening to, if you don't want to get the whole album, is Chocolate Chip Trip, because that includes a
Chocolate Trip. That's an actual
chip.
Chocolate
trip.
Chip Trip. Yeah. I
Also,
make sure
it
I was
does
saying
look
it
like
right.
a snake now that I think about it. The album art.
Yeah, but it kind of looks like something I saw when I was really high. But yeah, Chocolate Chip Trip includes a drum solo in it, aside from James, messing around with the synth, whatever thing.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's and I think that what you see on this album cover, there's like a double wide version of it that shows more of the thing, but like what matters more, I guess, is the music experience. And
Yes.
yeah, this one is like a definitely sit down and pay attention. But if you want something that really either like hits hard and has some crazy guitar in it, Tempest is definitely my favorite to go for, because Adam Jones just fucking abuses his guitar in that song.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. And regarding, like, I was really happy that you were able to really enjoy Schism.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't have the same bass player. I don't know his name, but the bass player does still do a good job. Definitely, keeping up how the bass sounds.
Right. Yes. Most definitely. Anyway.
So?
It is no longer Tool time.
No longer Tool time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we mentioned. So yeah, there's 10, 9, 8, and now we're at 7. We are not your kind. The repeating line from the Halloween 2018 single release, All Out Life, turned out to be the album title. And that has been one of the... Yeah. Sorry, I'll restart the sentence. 2019 would not be the biggest year of metal since 2015-16, when all of the big four released an album without Slipknot. With a debut on the charts that blew pop music out of first place, as Tool also did, Slipknot triumphantly returned with We Are Not Your Kind. And it is clear that Slipknot was not afraid to experiment, and it has the added benefit, when it is done right, as Slipknot did, maintains a classic band sound without becoming, quote, stale, so to speak. DragonForce is narrowly avoiding that in some cases, but I think that some of the songs really like stand out for DragonForce. Named Last Dragonborn, I think, was a really good one. But this one, I saw them live on the Knotfest Roadshow tour with Volbeat, Gojira, and Behemoth. The highlights of this album were Unsainted, Birth of the Cruel, Red Flag, Spiders, Orphan, and Solway Firth.
Wow.
Do we get Corey Taylor singing the SpongeBob theme?
I really don't think so. But
Not
I will
yet.
say... But I will say this much: this album is probably better than his review with Nostalgia Critic reviewing Pink Floyd's The Wall.
I feel bad that he has to be associated with that project.
Yeah, same here. No offense, but if there could have been some, why didn't they do something better with that? Seriously.
I mean, they did the end gag where he sings the SpongeBob theme, but that wasn't enough to cover for it.
Yeah, no, it really wasn't.
Well, it's good. It's good to see that the people that the men who live in cornfields have come out to bring us good music.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That's it.
bless you. I don't have much to say regarding.
I'm not talking about cornfields yet, but yeah, out from Iowa.
And of course, there's no not slipping here.
We're just gonna ignore that and move on to number 6.
Please do.
6. Again, once more, we return to the north to bring you Amon Amarth, the Berserker. And while this album doesn't quite really, do as much justice as from the momentum from Jomsviking in 2016, which is their first real, quote, concept album, which, if you listen to the songs in sequence, follows the story of there's a tragic hero story of a Viking, who someone comes to marry off his love, and he kills them and becomes, an outlaw, joins up with another army and comes to storm his homeland, is about to get vengeance on his father, but is killed before he can do so, but does go into Freya's mighty hall. This one still kicks major ass, because, Vikings.
Yes.
And I think that Naka at least can agree, or some other people can agree, that Fafner's Gold, which kicks off the album, has a lot of the same pacing as Metallica's song Battery, because of the acoustic intro, and then how the drums and guitar bass come in, and then a sort of thrashy pace throughout. Even with the breakdown too. But yeah, there was a lot of great songs in this album, especially the slamming Mjolnir, Hammer of Thor. Treasures have been forged for the Asa gods, but finest of them all, the Crusher it is called. Mjolnir, Hammer of Thor. Brings to mind mighty blacksmiths forging mighty works in the caves. And the, quote, sort of title track, the Berserker at Stamford Bridge, invokes a cinematic epic last stand of an axe-wielding Viking holding off the Englishmen while his fellows are able to retreat to safety. The highlights of this, as I mentioned, some of them: Fafner's Gold, Crack the Sky, Mjolnir, Hammer of Thor, Shield Wall, Raven's Flight, Go Ravens, Ironside, the Berserker at Stamford Bridge, and another long title, When Once Again We Can Set Our Sails.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, when once again we can set our sails. It's kind of like, the working title the band said was Yearning, but again, they've had some other songs with like longish titles. Embrace of the Endless Ocean.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was one of them.
I don't have much to say regarding Amon Amarth. I think they're a great band, just haven't listened to them that frequently, but I am excited for the next one. Naka, you have anything you want to say?
Because, I mean, not really, because we've kind of talked about most of these already, and it'd just be repeating ourselves.
Okay.
That's why I've just kind of shut up, other than
All right.
chiming in.
You can recap many of the things, but yeah, that is number 6. And I know how much of a fan of Lord of the Rings you are, Scarfy, and
Yes.
that was a thing that was mentioned, of course, in the Viking literature class I'm taking, because of the amount of inspiration Tolkien took from Norse mythology.
I still need you to watch the other films. Just saying.
Yeah, we showed a little bit of the first movie in class. Where we've moved on from that. Tucker, he's jangly boy. But yeah, Amon Amarth. Do you know what a Amarth means, Scarfy?
It means Mount Doom.
Yeah, it
Elvish,
does.
In Elvish, I believe.
Yep, it is the Elvish name for Mount Doom, and the title song, Amon Amarth, from Once Sent from the Golden Hall, I believe the album is about a battle that takes place in Mordor. So yeah, that's a little fun fact for you, and shows you that, I don't know, geeks, nerds can be cool. And apparently geeks came from biting heads off chickens, if Jeremy Dooley from Achievement Hunters to be believed. Now we're at the halfway point. We're not going to let this fire burn out anytime soon. It has been a hot minute.
The
But-
fire still burns.
Okay, but
Wait, that's number 4, not number 5. Anyway, go on.
number 5, a little bit of Monica in my life.
This is
right.
this is a matchstick. This is, I assume, what it's supposed to be. Correct, or am I wrong?
It is correct. Yeah, it was there.
Sure again.
Yeah, the title of the album and the cover of the album were kind of like kept, either kept under wraps or just not really thrown out there until the last minute. Because with the release of the first song, you had just the Rammstein logo, the R plus logo. And yeah, that's the album cover. That's it. That's the tweet.
I
It's
feel.
simplistic.
I'm just gonna say this right now. I feel like I'm watching a "Only You Can Prevent Wildfires" commercial.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know why you had to say that, but now I can't unsee it. Thanks.
I know, right?
It's an unassuming cover, sure, but once you start listening, you can almost see the fire blazing out from their stage. And of course, Rammstein never a band to shy away from controversy. They boldly led the album with Deutschland, a self-reflecting view of the history of their homeland, which includes, I think, which was properly done, the mocking way that they sing bits from the Nazi era pledge or like national anthem.
Deutschland über alles.
Yeah,
I wonder if
actually,
I
but they
do
changed
wonder
it
if
to Über allen, which means over everyone versus over all of everything. That's kind of like a little, German humor is very literal, and because having been to Germany, it's very dry humor, but that is very tongue in cheek of them, and I think it takes a little more. It takes just go a little bit beyond the surface to understand why they're doing that, because they want to have reference to it without. It's hard to do references to things without saying you're, approving or disproving of it, because that's what everyone expects of you to do nowadays, and that is a situation that Sabaton has found themselves in sometimes with, especially, or there's a hot button issue with Counter-Strike, the song, which is about the 6-day war between Israel, Egypt, Syria, and Jordan. Israel on one side and the others on the other, which saw those other countries, Egypt, Syria, and Jordan, basically in no uncertain terms get their asses handed to them in 6 days.
Yeah.
In total. But the implications of that war have a lot of, things and all, ramifications and, significance to this day. So there's a lot of things that you have to look beyond the surface to understand, that you're recounting these, because it's important to remember history without trying to write your own meaning into it, which is, of course, something that historians, since beginning of history as a field, have struggled to do, and others have pointed others out and whatever. But Deutschland, I think, is a really good way to go about talking about themselves and where they come from. Mm-hmm. The other songs or highlights other than Deutschland are Radio, Auslander, Sex, Weit Weg, and Hallo Mann.
I wonder if Rammstein saw freaking Jojo Rabbit, if they ever got to see it, because I think they would have enjoyed it, but that's just me. I don't have much to say regarding Rammstein. I did watch Mon Gegen Mon, which was a very interesting, which is a very sexual,
Yeah.
music video. If you think about it,
And not one to
logically.
shy away from sexual stuff either. Of course, being very, at least the clothing on stage being very like leather bondage ish kind of
Basically.
stuff. And so yeah, you should hear some of the stuff that Lindemann gets away with on his own. Praise abort. Yeah, I have 6 kids and I don't like it. And there are only a few other things coming out this year, which is why this list seems more complete. One of them is from Lindemann, which is the singer of Rammstein's solo thing. There's Sodom, that metal band, and something from Ozzy Osbourne. I don't know exactly what it is, but he's starting the solo tour again, I believe. But we'll see what that holds because none of that stuff's been determined yet. I don't think the Five Finger Death Punch album is quite coming out this year because there's been no other updates, but they're still recording it, so we'll see about that.
Hey,
but
Krüz,
for now, this seems like a good list.
Hey, Krüz, are you going to move on to your next one?
Yeah.
Okay,
so I can take my dog across the street real quick because it's been
that
about
is
3 hours.
that is exactly what I was thinking of. Yeah, please do. Okay,
Tucker is a good boy.
Yes.
Tucker,
Move
you're
on
a good
to
boy.
DragonForce. I'll be right back.
Tucker,
Yes,
you're a good boy. Watch out the fuck.
All right, go ahead, Knock. Go ahead, Krüz.
Go ahead. Make it like Speed, as fast as extreme power metal, and once again making an appearance in the top 10. I think they were 3rd in 2017, just behind Trivium with The Sin in the Sentence, with Overkill winning that year. This time, a more concise album that then reaching into Infinity, which did see a little more. This album saw further formation of the now Hudson-fronted band after the success of the previous two, which were more experimental, and that was The Power Within and Maximum Overload. And I don't know if this is still, I don't think it's still there, but at one point, if you searched up the album The Power Within, it would replace the actual album cover, which just was like a metal grate in the DF logo. It would replace that with the karate guy from SpongeBob when he did that. The Power Within.
Yeah.
I was like, God damn it. Anyway, they put forth a quite polished album and are not even remotely phased by the departure of 2 longtime members, Vadim Brushanov on keyboard and Frederic Leclerc on bass. I don't know about Vadim, but I know Freddie has joined Creator after their longtime bassist retired, so I think he's in good hands. With melodic thrash, I think Freddie's skill on bass will do him well. And actually, Herman Lee said that they felt bad about asking Herman said that the band felt bad about asking Freddie to be their bass player because he was such a good guitar player. They didn't want to limit him to a bass, but he's definitely done a great job with that. And I think they've got a lot of good years in them that we've yet to see. And with the aforementioned cover of Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go On to top it all off with an absolutely juicy key change at the end, extreme power metal is a welcome addition to the hit discography of DragonForce. And the highlights of this are, I take a deep breath for this one, Cosmic Power of the Infinite Shred Machine, if that is to tell you anything about what DragonForce is about. The Last Dragonborn, and yes, that is a Skyrim reference.
Really?
Art Demolition, Troopers of the Stars, which is about Starship Troopers, the movie, and My Heart Will Go On, of course, is one of the highlights. I found it interesting because I hadn't seen the whole movie in its entirety, but I watched like a lot of clips of it because I used clips from Starship Troopers for a project for another class.
That unless you watched freaking Rick and Morty, where they literally, visit the Titanic, which is kind of funny, but
Yeah, there's so I think it shows a lot of DragonForce, how DragonForce is committed to they do this like. DragonForce is the one band that's been the best at like showing how cheesy it can be without having the negative effects of being cheesy, but like literally making a song about Skyrim, but making it sound so badass.
Yeah, that is anything.
It's like cheesy. It's a good song. It's not just like a fuck it thing. I think it's probably one of the best songs in the album besides Troopers of the Stars and My Heart Will Go On. I think those are definitely the best three, but the others that can't be ignored are Heart Demolition and Cosmic Power.
Could you imagine if I was gonna say if DragonForce actually did a Lady Gaga song,
Covered it. I mean, I feel like that's probably something they'd probably do in their own time because I don't know how anyone would do that. Because honestly, they've covered Celine Dion and Johnny Cash. I don't know if they could get away with Lady Gaga, but
you never
I
know.
definitely think that it shows that it's a little like a wink, tongue-in-cheek kind of thing. And like we're not afraid to do some like crazy shit, just kind of like have some fun with it. Because of course, power and folk metal fans, I think at least as my experience with seeing Tyr in Budapest is to go by, folk metal fans of any, I think you can also include power metal fans in this, but mainly folk metal fans, they know more than any other sect of the fan base of metal how to have a really fucking fun time at a show. They know it's just singing, dancing around shit, like moshing, everything, the whole 9 yards. And I think, thrashing is a lot more like bringing out the energy and those fuck yeah moments. But there's a lot of like, fun you get with power metal and folk metal you don't get with other genres. But the DragonForce concert I went to was likewise a very fun experience and an unusually small venue in DC, but hey, it was fun.
Yep.
All right, I have returned.
All right, hello.
What do you think of DragonForce, my boy?
I already
My
you
boy.
talked about this like 3 weeks ago.
All right, so you don't want to talk about any. So you don't want to talk about any of these.
I'd kind of want to preserve my voice.
Okay. All right. Go. All right. Well, go ahead, Krüz. Go ahead, Krüz.
well-
just keep rolling.
Yep.
Because inevitably, I'm gonna be doing a lot of singing if I do a stream later on my thing, and I kind of don't want to lose my voice now. And I'd just be talking about things that we've already talked about if I were to talk about some of these albums again. So
Right.
it's kind of redundant.
Okay. Well, go ahead.
Green Day song. After a proper quote return to form with Serenity of Suffering, guess who's back?
Bitches.
It's
No, I'm just kidding.
Korn.
The corn
So they
is gonna
put forth with
rumble tonight.
fucking shit. What's the song called? Their best album yet, The Nothing. While the debut album Korn, which is what the album was called, Issues, and Follow the Leader, of course, remain highlights of their discography, there's something to be said about the effort that went into this one. Davis's bagpipes ring out in the album's intro song as his deranged voiceover repeats, "Why did you leave me?" as hysterical sobbing leads to its end, and then leads into the violent, murderous intent of Cold. Yes, that's a real crying and shit that happened on studio, and that's how Slipknot got 515 and how Korn got Daddy.
Mm-hmm.
So 515 for Slipknot, which was the intro song they used at the concert, was because it was the turntable guy Sid had just somehow like missed being able to attend his father's funeral, and he was very distraught, and they told him, go in the studio and just like scream your lungs out, like, and do whatever. He did that, and that 515 is the result of that. And it sounds spooky. And yeah, fans sometimes complained in more recent things than albums that Fieldy's rattling bass hasn't been as prominent, and I do agree it's not been as prevalent as it was with the older production, but it is a signature feature of Korn. However, especially in Cold and Idiosyncrasy of this album, the bass does ring through again. Jonathan's vocals, of course, sound, great. The guitar tone isn't as overdriven or overbearing as in Serenity of Suffering, which did kind of swallow up the bass a little bit in that album. And Gravity of Discomfort shows a unique effect use, probably helped by the looping editing with how it sounds, but still a real cool use of effects and such. Even the interlude songs are awesome, and I honestly didn't realize that they were interlude songs until I saw how short they were. The highlights are, I guess, The End Begins is also kind of an interlude song, but it's also kind of the intro song. And it's the return of the bagpipes, because why the fuck not? The highlights are The End Begins, Cold, The Darkness is Revealing, Idiosyncrasy, The Ringmaster, Gravity of Discomfort, and Harder.
Mm-hmm.
Woof.
Anyway, I don't have much to say regarding Korn. I kind of want to move on to the next one.
Yeah, you kind of want not to wallow in the beams.
It's not that I can't stop. It's just we just have a lot to talk about. That's all.
Yeah, you do. We have to talk about a lot of things. You could say it's hell, like war, but we will fly over it with the wings of war. And this comes in at number 2. Korn is number 3. Overkill.
Not Siskiyou.
Yeah, not that bad. But I think as Tier probably is one best album cover of the year. Maybe. I think on second thought, Tier might have some competition for best album cover of the year, but that will come in time. But The Wings of War, this almost nothing else deserves a best production sound award because Bobby's vocals, of course, that was never a question. They always sound excellent. The guitars are chef's kiss, crisp and crunchy without being too, I guess, fat or condensed or like sounding like it's just a gas release of like you'll know when you hear it. And they hit hard like Dimebag's signature buzzing tone of Pantera. The bass guitar is solidly present and rattling, definitely discernible, and still lends its weight. And the drums sound clean and punchy without being overprocessed or mechanical. And the balance, the EQ, everything is just perfect. And as for the songwriting, there are really no filler songs in this one, except maybe Out on the Roadkill, which even then, that's a fucking banger of a track. Heavy, groovy, and thrashing like it's still the fucking 80s. Overkill continues to perform at a stellar level. The Wings of War is, above all, a testament to that very fact. The highlights of this one are The Last Man Standing, Head of a Pin, Batshit Crazy, Distortion, Welcome to the Garden State, and Hole in My Soul.
Okay.
One more thing before we get to number 1. We have a few honorable mentions that didn't quite make the cut, but still deserve recognition. And those are The Children of Bodom with Hexed, Hell Yeah with Welcome Home, and
Sanitarium.
Yeah. Hey, baby. And Bad Wolves with Nation. Oh, I put a little visual in that. You can just show it briefly.
Right.
Yeah, those are those. A lot of purple and blue going on there. Yeah, there is. I do think there were really great things from each of those albums. But yeah, I think that the winner, there's a reason for this winner. And I'm going to have to defend myself a little bit. But number 1, the one I haven't talked about, that's Sabaton.
Yep.
So yeah, I think now I know what you're thinking, or maybe thinking. Of course you're a fan of Sabaton, so of course they win. Hear me out. 2019 has been the best year of Sabaton's career. Before The Great War was released, Sabaton released the heavily fan-requested topic song, Bismarck, which quickly garnered about 10 million views and counting, and it was celebrated by fans worldwide, and they also did play at the show, which was awesome. And yes, Last Stand won in 2016, and I'm also considering the circumstances, because Sabaton has had members shift around since they formed, and of course 2016 was no exception, with the departure of Tub England and the arrival of guitarist Tommy Johansson. He arrived after the album was recorded, and meaning that The Great War was the first studio album to feature Tommy alongside other guitarist Chris Rowland. Now, I was under the impression that The Last Stand was a grandiose album, and yeah, then The Great War happened. while it certainly generates some sort of Sabaton classic sounding songs like Fields of Verdun, The Red Baron, Great War, 82nd All the Way, and Attack of the Dead Men, the whole album feels like a storybook, each song being a chapter. And even as grandiose as it gets, Sabaton channels the Heroes album with 2014 theme of focusing on individuals like Sergeant Alvin York in 82nd All the Way, Manfred von Richthofen, aka the Red Baron, and Francis Pegamagabo, aka the Ghost in the Trenches, and ending with the absurdly orchestral theatrical The End of the War to End All Wars, again filling with the mouthful title themes. But the album is not quite yet over as a chorus sings the mournful poem In Flanders Fields. So I think that all that considered, as far as being, it's technically tight and the best songwriting, Overkill almost toppled this, but I think that Sabaton, as far as presenting a great album with like the spirit behind it, and I mean, it's just, what is there to say? Because like I just, after listening to the end of the album and hearing like the sound of shells just hitting the ground as the last song ends before the poem, the For Flanders Fields, you realize it's just like you watched a fucking war film. But yeah, I think definitely there's a reason that we have the top three in the top three with Korn, The Nothing, definitely one of their best, Overkill, The Wings of War, continuing to be high octane, and then Sabaton, The Great War, being, you know, there's nowhere else to go but up for Sabaton at this point. And also the show that they played at the in Silver Spring was sold out, as was half of the entire North American tour. If that's to tell you anything about how much fans are digging this album. And also I'd recommend, in a little passing note, subscribe to Sabaton History if you really like to learn more about the stuff behind the songs. They've done some stuff from the Great War, and the most recent episode, they come out on Thursdays for regular YouTube viewers. The last one was about 1648. And with that, The End of the War to End All Wars ends my segment, but another begins.
An hour later.
Yes, that's
I want to die.
Yeah. Let's try and get this as done as we can, because we can't go over 4 hours. All right, let's go.
Please, dear
Let's
God,
go. Let's go. Yeah, let's go.
We have race 3, round 3 of the NASCAR playoffs, with Martin Truex Jr. dick slapping the field at Martinsfield and Harvick dominating at Texas. Only 2 spots remained in the final for the final 4 in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series Championship at Homestead next week. Who will conquer Phoenix to either lock in with a dire win, and who will point their way into the Final Four at Homestead? Denny Hamlin ended up winning, with Kyle Busch sneaking in on points, kicking out Joey Logano, who both needed good days, great days to survive, and one did, one didn't. And Chase Elliott needed a win. Kyle Larson and Ryan Blaney feasibly could have pointed their way in, but they ended up needing wins, and they couldn't. They didn't have the equipment at the end of the day. So, So, because this is our final show, I'm going to go championship predictions for the Truck Series, Xfinity Series, and Cup Series. The Truck Series, Stuart Friesen won on Friday at Phoenix, so he locked himself in alongside Brett Moffitt, Ross Chastain, and Matt Crafton, where I think Brett Moffitt will win the Truck Series championship. In the Xfinity Series, Christopher Bell locked himself in with a win at a win at Texas, Justin Allgaier locked himself in with a win at Phoenix/ISM. With Tyler Reddick and Cole Custer getting in on points. Personally, I believe Christopher Bell is going to win at Homestead to win the championship. And the Final Four in the Cup Series, the big dog. 3 champions, 1 trying to get his first championship. We have Martin Truex Jr. in the 19 car for Joe Gibbs Racing. Kevin Harvick, the only Ford in for Stewart Haas Racing. Denny Hamlin in the 11 for Joe Gibbs Racing. And Kyle Busch in the 18 for Joe Gibbs Racing. And I personally believe that this is Denny Hamlin's season. He has been, outside of Martin Truex Jr., he has been the best driver in JGR's stable. and I believe he'll be able to get his first championship at Homestead next Sunday.
But we'll just have to wait and see.
Well, I'll have to wait and see. You guys don't give a fuck.
Okay. Well, what do you have on the agenda?
All right. Nice keys. Nice ride, but I'm going to need those keys right now. I said right now!
Yeah, okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, officer! Where is it? Palm City is the setting for Need for Speed Heat, and boy, it is a doozy. With the Speed Hunter Showdown in town, official sanctioned races, race your way to the top to win cash spent on cars and upgrades during the day. During the night, street races run wild, and the fight for the rep is huge. And while you can get massive amounts of rep in one night, the cops will stop at nothing to get street racers off the streets. The storyline with both the Speed Hunter Showdown and the police, led by Lieutenant Frank Mercer and his other officers, notably Shaw, is a heavy element of the game, and it's a bit of a big ploy. Earn rep at night so you can get more cars and parts to buy at night, but you risk losing it if you get arrested by the cops. So don't do that. Don't get arrested.
Yes, don't get arrested.
And the handling doesn't fucking suck for once. Thanks, Ghost, for actually having a proper handling model. Grip cars actually do work if you get them set up properly. And there's no speed card upgrade system, which was bullshit. You had to roll a slot machine just to get the upgrades you wanted, Need for Speed Payback, which was absolute fucking bullshit. And you know who did that? Shaw right here. And Shaw sucks big pee.
And
I'm sorry, this is a cutscene in the first chapter of the game.
Did you make that, or is it actually
No, somebody else made this livery on their car. So the way it works is that it's the way that Ghost has done magic with their cutscenes is that they basically just have like a placeholder car that then gets replaced with whatever car you're driving in its cutscenes, and that's something I like about
Big pee-pee.
Ghost games when it comes to their cutscenes, because you can have shit like this
and
in the cutscene.
And you laughed your ass off at this.
Yes, it's beautiful. I found somebody retweeted this to me, and then I'm just like, well, I wonder what people have to say on Reddit. And Reddit people are like, this is the goddamn best. And we've had a big element of bullshit the past couple of games, whether it be always online or the speed card system and microtransactions that may or may not show up later down the line. I don't know. But
this game is solid.
This game is very solid. There's better customization. There's more visual options. The actual performance customization works. Don't know why they had to get rid of that in Payback. You can tune your exhaust note sound, which is pretty unique and new to Need for Speed outside of Shift and Shift 2, which are more precursors to Project Cars, but whatever.
Right.
You can actually do engine swaps on your vehicles, which is really freaking cool. I'm not at a level where I can swap in a cool engine into my cars yet, but I'm getting there. I'm close. But having picked up the game myself, I will say that this is probably the best Need for Speed title to come out on, what are we on, the 8th generation of consoles right now?
I believe so.
This is the best Need for Speed game for the 8th gen of consoles, and PC for that matter. Ghost has finally learned from their previous mistakes, and they finally got something very solid. There are some issues people are having, like, I'm not sure if it's been fixed on the PC version, but where the world around you would just be, like, everything would just be grass, and it'd be kind of like Mad Max, Need for Speed, Fallout 76 or whatever, because there would just be grass everywhere for no reason.
Exactly.
There's little things like that, you know.
And grass like popping through other textures.
Yes, like through the road.
Yeah,
everywhere.
I've seen that a bit in other games.
But,
I think Need for Speed. Yeah, there were some funny glitches in Need for Speed. Was it Rivals? Yeah, the last one I played. That I knocked down a street lamp and it just kept. It fell down, stood back up, fell down, stood back up, and then I hit a like a bus, kind of like the little bus, like where you wait for
A
the bus.
bus
I hit
stop?
one of. No, it's like it hit the not the sign, the structure, and like it just completely disintegrated through the world. It was some fun like that, but I think I don't know if I get back into racing games, this might be that. But honestly,
You
there's
really enjoy this
really
title.
can't
The
think
cops
about it.
actually are pretty difficult when you're starting off, so beware in the high heat levels at night. Beware, because they are fucking brutal, and it's
Breaking
finally
the law,
a challenge.
breaking the
for you.
law.
It's finally a challenge compared to Need for Speed 2015 and Payback.
Well, they have like, do they stop or no?
They don't stop unless you like knock them out, like
Yeah, pretty
knock the
much.
cars out
Unless
of
you-
commission.
Unless you knock them out, that's when they stop.
Why
I
do
mean-
Why do they not like street racing? I never get it.
Well, the thing with street racing is that it's it's an endangerment to not only the drivers, but it's endangerment to property. It's civilians, other people's cars. It's a lot of legally. It's
And that's to say
Legally,
nothing of
it's
the,
just
and
not
that's,
smart
That's
to
to say
do.
nothing of the probable betting that goes on with it.
and there's also betting and stuff that goes on, pink slips, and then if something goes wrong, there's going to be more violence, and that's why people
It's part of the reason why you enjoy the Fast and the Furious franchise a lot.
sort of.
Yeah.
Because the essence of it is supposed to be street racing, and then it turned into a fucking heist movie.
Oh well.
But, the first one, had heist elements, but it was, at its essence was still street racing and car culture. And Need for Speed Heat finally delivers on that for, the past 6 years for Need for Speed haven't really been the best, but this is a good return to form. A really good return to form. I forget what I said about Need for Speed Payback, but there were a lot of issues with that game that I found post-launch. And this game is just way better. Go pick it up. It's out on Xbox One, PS4, and PC.
Yes.
I was going to talk about this a couple weeks ago, but then we had the whole thing, and blah, blah.
All right. Go ahead.
All right. And now we move on to 2 big games releasing this week, and then 1 re-release. The first one being Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
It looks great. I'm just gonna say this right now. Graphically, it looks beautiful.
I mean, I wondered why my computer was like buffering a little bit, and I realized the trailer is in as much as my computer can handle, which is 1440, 60 frames.
Damn.
Jesus, that trailer was 1440 60?
That's what it was showing in my computer, yeah.
I only watched it at 1080p. Shit.
Damn.
That was
That's I mean, the only other channel I can watch that actually posts stuff in that, other than off things, are the slow-mo guys.
Right.
Yeah, but even if 4K loads on my computer, it still buffers because obviously my computer's just like
What do I do? Oh, also, for if you had Need for Speed Heat Studio, which was the mobile customization app, and you signed in with your EA account, you could actually, and then sign up on their website. You can't do it anymore because, it's past November 8th.
Yeah.
But you could actually get one of your favorite cars that you made in the game and then put it into a trailer, which is what that trailer link is for Need for Speed Heat. Anyway,
Yes.
I need to move on to Jedi Fallen Order. It's a game that looks promising due to its developers of Respawn Entertainment, who have had success with the Titanfall, and the fact that the developers have said that they drew inspiration from the Dank Souls franchise and Legend of Zelda Wind Wanker.
Yeah.
Yes, honestly, street racing, keep it to the track, please. If a street race is going on, I'll watch, but I'll watch only for when it's happening, and I don't want to be a spectator. I don't want to be associated with that. My audio is degraded. Well, great. I probably blew out the mic because of my shouting. Hold on. All right, that's better?
I mean, I couldn't hear a difference, honestly, but I can.
I kind of can't because I can't hear it going through my headphones.
All right.
And thankfully, there have been no frame drops since the start. Anyway, move on. Set 5 years after Revenge of the Sith, one of the last surviving Jedi, Padawan Cal Kestis, has so far escaped the galaxy-wide purge of the Jedi Order started by Execute Order 66.
Yeah.
Do it.
As your
Kill him.
subscription expired,
Do it.
renew it.
And is on the run from the Galactic Empire after attempting to salvage a Ventnor-class... You heard it in the right channel only? Yeah, that's...
I'm only hearing things in my left right now because my headphones are broken.
But we should be back to goody gooders. Let's see.
Oh, goody.
After trying to salvage a Ventnor-class Star Destroyer above a Sarlacc pit, a.k.a. a space anus...
The devil's anus.
An accident happens in which Cal has to openly use the Force to save one of his friends from falling into the pit, witnessed by a nearby Imperial probe droid. The droid transmits the footage to the Empire, causing Cal's true identity to be revealed to the Imperials. The Empire dispatches the second sister, an Inquisitor trained by Darth Vader, to hunt down the Padawan and eradicate the remaining Jedi Knights. Alright, my audio... Loose Jack, I might have just, blown out the channel, or I notice sometimes...
I can hear the mic. I can hear the mic just fine on the stream. I don't know what's going on.
You can hear it in both channels, right?
Yeah, I hear it both in my left and my right ear. I don't know what's going on.
I think what I had to do was because there's a knob on the Blue Yeti that allows me to change the settings. So I just.
It doesn't help that my headphones, it sometimes can pick up what it's saying from one side, and sometimes sometimes it pops into the right.
I mean, I hear it in both. I don't know what's going on.
I noticed with OBS, there's like 2 bars, and one of them was, transmitting higher than the other. But hopefully it's fixed now, because I just turned the knob for the audio channel or whatever. Yeah, I thought so. It just needed to be kicked in the keister again.
Yeah, or in the case of my headphones, slammed against my desk repeatedly.
If this becomes an ongoing issue, we're sorry. This is the best we can do.
No, I know how to fix it now.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
let's see. Exploring new worlds and iconic worlds. This is Kashyyyk. Run-ins with Saw Gerrera seen in Rogue One in Second Sister, the Inquisitor from Star Wars Rebels. It's an action-adventure game meant to jump in and fight with lightsabers, not to stealth it out like an ass creed. Can you take me? No. There's no dark side path because this is about the Jedi. Who'd have thought? Jedi. Do it. However, your force powers are utilized with push, pull, and slow, whatever the last one means. Hopefully, EA does not fuck it up.
Yes, please don't.
It releases on Windows, on Xbox One, PS4, and PC. Why did I say Windows instead of Xbox One?
Windows and PC.
Windows and PC, but Xbox One, PS4, and PC on November 15th.
Okay. Well, I just want to this looks really good. It looks really promising, and I just really hope that EA doesn't pull a fucking Star Wars Battlefront 2 where, they use fucking loot crates or loot boxes and say that, it encourages players to actually be, to actually try and be, you work for it when it's not really working for it at all.
It's less the fact that that those loot boxes existed. It's more the explanation given for them.
Yeah,
it's like because obviously the explanation isn't true because there are like reward systems like that in every game. Like even Rocket League, you get crates, and unless you get keys or you can with points that you get by decryptors and you earn them by playing, you can buy keys, but you don't have to. A lot of times, the only time you don't have to do it, but if you want to open the crates, there's the possibility of getting another thing, and all those are also just all aesthetic things.
Right.
It's just cool additions. Some of them I've been wanting to get, but I'm just like, it never chooses them.
The graphics are really good. I really do like how far
I assume this isn't a gameplay trailer, but still, I would hope that there's not going to be that hard of a drop off with the, between this gameplay. Obviously, it's not going to be as smooth, buttery smooth, but the trailer did look really solid and really cool, and definitely, at least now, looks like it's going to perform, or at least maybe not perform monetarily, but like look better than Battlefront 2, which I played a little bit of.
Right.
PS4.
Is that
But
all you have to
anyways.
say?
Yes, because I am ready to rip the next one a new one, because I am right along with you, Naka.
Hey, remember, this
Yes.
is my segment, and you have, how many pages of shit do you have? You have 5 whole pages.
Shut up. Go.
Pokemon Swish, aka Sword and Shield.
Swish and flicker.
So, Shuckle and Vanillix are clearly more important than Absol, Aggron, Heracross, Dragonite, Swampert, Metagross, Furret, Alakazam, Jigglypuff, Camerupt, and Zangoose, and every starter line besides Charizard's, because Shuckle and Vanillix are totally important.
Hey, Shuckle's actually a good Pokemon.
But
if
I
used
want my
correctly.
ice cream.
But that's going. But that's not saying a lot. Keep going.
Totally the Pokemon that we wanted. Totally. Not like there's all these other Pokemon that people wanted. We needed to have fucking ice cream.
I want this one.
Yeah.
I get it. There's hardware limitations, and you physically cannot have all 1,000 Pokemon with their 3D models and animations, even though they're last lucker and shitty and cheap, including the overworld. But holy fuck, it's such a letdown to the Pokemon they did not choose to include. Cutting back on legendaries, that's fine. The only one that's present outside of the new Galarian legendaries is Mew, which is strange, because when you have the creator of everything in the Pokemon universe, Arceus, not included, what the fuck?
It's ironic. It's like Thanos got Thanos along with the rest of them.
Just like, what the fuck? You don't have literally God in the franchise, who's actually not that good competitive, mind you. At least I don't think. You don't have God.
I mean, Judgment was basically, Judgment could wipe the floor with a lot of types.
but you have his first
was it.
child. That makes no sense. But whatever.
Yes.
Because of the lack of choices of Pokemon they've decided to include or not include, and the fact they haven't said anything about maybe they're going to add Pokemon later down the line, or Pokemon Bank will actually have something to do in the future, I'm not going to be
More on
picking it
that
up
later.
at launch. There's
No,
actually
I'm not
too
gonna
many
be picking it
Pokemon
up.
that I cannot play without.
Unless it ties along with the 3DS.
They crammed 800 and they crammed 800 and some odd Pokemon on there with the same animations. But whatever. Guess I'm not a game developer. But there's too many Pokemon that I can't play without. My team is gone. Go out and find new Pokemon to have your adventure.
I
with,
want
you
my-
say. And yes,
Excuse you, I will not do without my Panzer Battalion, okay, Aggron. Of course, there is another Pokemon that could probably do that job, but Aggron. Come on, really? Aggron.
yes.
That's the
And-
one I'm upset about.
And again, it's a fair argument. You need to go out and play with a new Pokemon. I agree. That is a fair argument. But there are some
But not like
mainstays
this.
But we already knew about this with every single game that already came out.
Yeah, you find new Pokemon to add to your team along with old ones, and you see which ones are better. But I cannot complete my team without Absol and Swampert. I don't care about the new Gigantamax gimmick, which makes your Pokemon to the size of buildings.
Or in the
aka
case of
macro
Wailord,
furries.
possibly the size of the known universe.
Yeah, stripping away Megas and Z moves, which admittedly are kind of bullshit, but whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And as cool as the Galar region is, it's just, it's not enough for me. Sure, there's the new
The
Pokemon.
graphics look amazing.
The new Pokemon was Surfetched, and Linoon finally has an evolution, which just turns it into a member of the band Kiss.
Linu?
Oh! How much do you want to bet that particular Linoon is still an HM slave? Just saying.
Well, HMs are gone, remember?
Oh well, I forgot honestly. But,
Yeah, I mean,
They removed
that's
Legends
the
in
kind of
7.
thing that's kind of changed the thinking of how, because the first Pokemon games that I played had the HM, you had the HM slaves to deal with. Yeah, this will be an interesting one to look at. I'm probably not going to go out and buy it immediately, but I'll give it a college try because I want to play more
And
Pokemon.
the fact that Galarian Weezing is supposed to be a smokestack with green smoke like it's a nuclear power plant, but it's a
You're not
bog.
fooling You're not
It's
fooling
a
anyone.
fucking bong.
Yeah,
My friend's
I don't know
nickname
who
on
they think they're
Discord
fooling,
is
but...
Galarian Stoner, and it's a drawing of like one of the Pokemon trainer characters smoking out of the thing.
The only thing you have to
Yes.
do is make gas or like coughing, squeezing's eyes just red. That's all you need to do.
Just pick it up or don't. I'm not your dad. My opinion may change, only time will tell. Pokemon Switch, aka Sword and Shield, will release for the Nintendo Switch on November 15th.
Okay, so I have to talk about something that has really aggravated me for Pokemon Sword and Shield. I remember when they said that all of the Pokemon were not going to be available on Pokemon Sword and Shield, and there was going to be no national dex until further notice. Honestly, this is one of the times where I can say I am very disappointed. I am only going to get the game if my grandparents decide to get it for Christmas, or unless the Pokemon Company decides to add the national dex back. And that's just how it is. I don't really agree with the idea.
You mean the national dex of Galar? Like
the national dex of every Pokemon region. That's what national dex is.
Here's the thing with with Sun and Moon. I don't know what it meant, but some of the Pokemon that you got, just when you see them, when you look at them in the Pokedex, like the top part shows their number. Some of those, that number is just not there. I don't know like what they're meaning with that, because they're not. It's not part of the Alolan Pokedex.
Well,
that's like
I don't know what that means either, but I need to continue with my little rant. Here's the thing. Pokemon is very near and dear to my heart. I've played from Gen 3 all the way up to Gen 8, and I played the first 2 gens just to see what they like, and I have, I pretty much have every Pokemon game from pretty much every generation known to man. I don't have every Pokemon game, but that's not the point. My point is, I don't believe that the Pokemon Company is telling the truth, because they said that they had to change the items, and they had to change the animations and everything, and I just don't agree with that. The attack animations and the animations look exactly how they did in Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Sun and Moon. So I just don't really know what to say regarding it, but here's my piece on it.
Moon and Sword. Yeah.
Until they decide to bring the national dex back,
instead of axing all these Pokemon, could you just axe Tail Whip? Because it just looks stupid when any Pokemon does it.
Stop interrupting.
Unless my grandparents decide to get Pokemon Sword or Shield for me for Christmas, I am hanging up my trainer's hat for the time being, because unfortunately, that's just how it is for me. I like the national dex. Here's another thing. We paid our money to pay for Pokemon Bank to transfer all of our Pokemon from Gen 3 all the way up to Gen 7. Like,
At least that's going to expire.
I mean, like, that is huge. I don't even know what to say to that. And, I'm sorry. That's just not good enough for me. And that's really all I have to say regarding Pokemon Sword and Shield. You guys get it if you want. I don't want to have anything to do with it unless they do one of two things, and that's just how it is for me, okay? That's all I have to say.
That's pretty much it. Though we do have Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition. This is like the 4th re-release of Age of Empires 2.
Yeah, I had to look through. I found a bunch of other versions of it, and unfortunately this may not have been the best one, but it shows the title, it shows gameplay. And
this is just a 4K retexture of Age of Empires HD Edition, which came out 6 years ago, but it adds some new missions and 4 civilizations to play as. There you go. Coming out
That's
on
about
PC
it.
November 12th.
Yeah. Regards to Pokemon real quick, I think I'm probably gonna just relegate. Say like, Mom, can you give me this for Christmas? And well, as much as I hope they can get that right, when I asked for Cuphead for Christmas, what I opened was a mini vinyl record of some of the music from Cuphead. I'm like, this is very cool, but it's not the game. My mom was like, looked at me, she's like, shit. But yeah, that's probably what that'll be relegated to. But let's see, I'm not much of a whole real time age of strategy, whatever game, but definitely probably welcome addition for those who enjoy the really sit down and think about what the fuck you're doing, who you're going to trade and go to war with.
Yep.
All right, now we move on to movies with a retelling of Disney Plus, the ever-haunting subscription service from Disney.
All right, so yeah, in case you didn't hear Naka clearly, but though I'm pretty sure you did.
No, audio looks fine.
Just a reminder that the next play in this chess game of King of Streaming Services is about to make the next move. Disney Plus will be launching Tuesday, November 12th in the US, Canada, Netherlands. On the 19th, they will release on Australia and New Zealand. However, it won't be until March 31st, where Disney Plus will also be hitting the east side of the pond in the UK, France, Spain, Italy, Germany, and Ireland. Since we're in the US, we're only going to talk about the US side of things. The price is $6.99 a month, or if you prefer, you can purchase the yearly option, which is $69.99. Each account subscription will be able to hold 7 profiles per account, and you will be able to stream up to 4 devices concurrently at the same time. Basically, what this means is if 4 of 7 people are using Disney Plus all at the same time, and another person wants to join, they basically have to wait their turn. However, I don't see this as much of an issue, because people have lives, and not everyone on the account is going to use this service all at once. I feel. The low price and the amount of profiles is giving Netflix a run for its money due to its use of password sharing. I don't doubt that many will probably be dropping Netflix in favor of Disney Plus. However, this is what Disney wants us to do. They want us to drop Netflix because they know that Disney is cheaper, and the fact that once Disney has enough, they're going to probably start upping the price. But that's exactly what they want us to do. So if you're thinking about that, I wouldn't fall for it. However, that if you want to get Disney Plus, that is totally up to you. Remember, Disney Plus can up the price whenever they want. So it's not exactly as win-win as you think it may be. That's just what they don't want you to think. But who will win? Disney and their now high conglomerate of media and corporations, or Netflix and their very wide variety of original award-winning shows, original movies, and a wide variety of films and TV shows? We just have to wait and see. The service releases on November 12th. There was a little bit of an update. It will actually release, I believe, 3 p.m. at $6.99 a month. That's a huge deal.
Weird time.
I know. I don't get it at all. I don't get it either. It's just how it is.
It's just when it goes live.
Local, like 3 p.m. local to whatever region you live in, or is that 3 p.m. Pacific?
I think that's 3 p.m. Pacific, I want to say, but I'm not too sure.
That's so dumb.
Like I said, I don't get it either. I think it was 3 p.m. I would have to let me look at the Disney Plus release times. Just for shits and giggles. I'm just gonna I'm not gonna spend too much time here. But yeah. Okay, Disney Plus will become available at 9 a.m. Eastern on Tuesday, November 12th. So basically,
I'm gonna
12
fucking
p.m.
wake up for that shit.
So basically 12 p.m. Noon on the Pacific side.
No, if it's 9 a.m. Eastern, that'd be 6 in the morning Pacific.
Oh, shit. I got it wrong. I got it backwards. Anyway, well, I don't have much to say regarding Disney Plus. I will have to say I will be getting...
It sounds like they're going to run out of accounts to make.
I will be getting a Disney Plus profile, so I will be able to access it hands-on, because I actually have a friend of mine who's actually, deciding to give it to me and just deciding to do all this and all this and all this and, But that is all I have to say regarding Disney Plus. It is going to be it's going to make a lot of money. It's going to do all this. It's going to do that. We'll just have to wait and see if it really kicks Netflix off the throne. But that's another debate for another day. Let's move on. We're going to move on to our movies for the week ahead.
Splash.
Another film by the critically acclaimed A24 that I needed to put 2 trailers in it. Waves is a 2019 American drama film written and directed by Trey Edward Schultz. It stars Kevin Harrison Jr., Lucas Hedges, Taylor Russell, Alexa Demi, Renee Elise Goldsberry, and Sterling K. Brown. Set against the vibrant landscape of South Florida and featuring an astonishing ensemble of award-winning actors and breakouts alike, Waves traces the epic emotional journey of a suburban African-American family, led by a well-intentional but domineering father, as they navigate love, forgiveness, and coming together in the aftermath of a loss. From acclaimed director Trey Edward Schultz, Waves is a heartrending story about the universal capacity for compassion and growth even in the darkest of times. Schultz was also responsible for making the critically acclaimed It Comes at Night, which I sadly haven't seen, but is also an A24 production. The film looks great. It looks beautiful, but unfortunately, there's just not much for me to say. I just hope that the film does well because, hey, A24, you can't go wrong with their company. Their company is doing really well this year. The film releases November 15th. Krüz, Naka, thoughts, feelings?
Movies like this just get my mind racing in the wrong way. Which,
Okay.
I mean, sure, movies, they're supposed to be more emotional. I can't do it. I can't do it because then I fall into a spiral and I don't want to go, and it's hard for me to come out of that spiral. That's why I typically avoid movies like this, not because they're bad, but because they're so well done. They get their point across, or like the message and like the themes, they do it so well that it's hard for me to get out of there.
Yeah.
It's like it's trying to get out of defense mode, for example, and it's hard for me to get out of that defense mode sometimes.
Okay. And Krüz, you?
I mean, I suppose maybe not to the same extent, like really to some. Not a lot, but there have been some family issues, and that's been like a headspace that's definitely not easy to get out of. But I think this one is supposed to have more of a overall redeeming theme of trying to get through it. It's hard to tell some of what's going on, but I don't know. It's like I'm going to say not a romantic. It's obviously not a romantic comedy, but it's kind of like a romance film in a way. I don't know what else to describe it as, but I guess that's what I got.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and move on with our next film. That stars Adam Driver. This should be good. The Report is a 2019 American docudrama film written and directed by Scott C. Burns and starring Adam Driver, Annette Bening, Ted Levine, Michael C. Hall, Tim Blake Nelson, Corey Stoll, Mara Tierney, and John Hamm. Senate staffer Daniel J. Jones is tasked with leading an investigation into the CIA's systematic torture of terrorist suspects in the years following the September 11th attacks. The investigation concludes that the so-called enhanced interrogation techniques used by the CIA were brutal, immoral, and ineffective forms of torture, and that the CIA routinely misrepresented these facts to policymakers. When the Senate Intelligence Committee attempts to publish their findings, they have to contend with the CIA and White House's attempts to block and undermine the report known as the Committee Study of the Central Intelligence Agency's Detention and Interrogation Program. The film is directed by Scott C. Burns, a screenwriter who serves under the wing of Steven Soderbergh, who just so happens to be producing it. It looks interesting, to say the least, but at the same time, I'm also met with a big meh from it, if only because there's not much that is given away or not much stuff that is shown that is all that interesting. I don't want to give you guys the impression that I'm giving this film a hard pass because the film does look promising. I just hope that Scott knows what he's doing since technically he hasn't directed a whole lot, but only time will tell. The film releases on November 15th. I don't really, it looks interesting. It's just kind of, it looks like it won awards.
It does probably rely a lot on Driver's performance. I think it especially could be a good tense drama film in I guess in the sense of docudrama being more about factually based. But I can't help but think the whole Truth Matters is the whole same CNN ploy of trying to salvage credibility kind of thing. But that writing in meaning aside, there's a lot of things like this that have happened in American politics, and hopefully this movie does do the situation justice of how difficult it can be to either get around it or even resolve these issues when they don't come out.
And as for you, Naka,
it'd be an interesting plot point, or it'd be interesting to watch. And it's an Amazon original. I'll be able to watch it on Prime Video, and the concept itself of, CIA, terrorists, interrogation, all that kind of shit, now it's kind of twisted. That is something that, you could really bring up today, in fact, about how we handle other situations. Now, that's pretty much all I have to say. I'm going to hand it back over to you for this next movie, and you're going to have to fill time a little bit, because I'm not sure if my dog is hungry or if he needs to go take a dump.
Okay.
But I'll be a few minutes, so bear with me. Go on to the next film. And you might have to stall for time. I'll let you know.
Okay. Well, we're going to move on to our next film called The Good Liar. Okay, Bill Condon, what is your fetish with Ian McKellen? Not that I'm complaining, I like him as an actor, but damn. Anyway, let's deal with this first. The Good Liar is an upcoming American thriller film directed and produced by Bill Condon and written by Jeffrey Hatcher, based on the novel of the same name by Nicholas Cyril. It stars Ian McKellen, Helen Mirren, Russell Tovey, and Jim Carter, not the president. I'm just going to make that clear. Yeah, that's Jimmy Carter. This is not the president. Anyway, career con artist Roy Courtney can hardly believe his luck when he meets well-to-do widow Betty McLeish online. As Betty opens her home and life to him, Roy is surprised to find himself caring about her, turning what should be a cut-and-dry swindle into the most treacherous tightrope walk of his life. So, I have to talk about Bill Condon. He's a director who has directed some of the best films such as Chicago, Kinsey, Dreamgirls, and Mr. Holmes, but sadly has also directed hits such as Breaking Dawn Part 1 and 2, The Fifth Estate, and Beauty and the Beast 2000.
I don't know why you called Breaking Dawn a hit, but that's...
I said hit, I said, that's why I said
I know
sadly.
you said unfortunately, but...
Which you guys should all know that I hate Beauty and the Beast 2017. So, a bit of a mixed bag of directing here.
We had a lot of talk about that. I don't know, you hated it that much. I think the biggest issue, of course, was the thing that Channel Awesome already brought up, that the whole Emma Watson can't fucking sing to save her life. But yeah.
I don't know what to think of this. I'm not too sure how well this film is going to do, but all I can say is that, sadly, I don't know what to think of this movie. I don't know how well it's going to do, so I can only hope that it'll do its best. And, yeah, that's really all you're going to get from me. The film releases on November 15th. And yes, Ian McKellen is the actor who plays Gandalf in Lord
Not even going to get a no dog. Yeah.
On
that note, I think I think it's kind of not as comical, but it's giving me a little bit of Red vibes, especially with Helen Mirren in it, and a little bit of the spy action stuff. Not as prominent, but that's still going on. It kind of gives me a little bit of that vibe, and it's probably not going to be as focused on being a comedy as that one was. I think it's still be an interesting movie. Not one I'm going to go on my way for, because still, of course, I have to still go see the thing that Jim and I made a video for, Dr. Sleep. So let's see that, and
Parasite,
and then Midway, just because I'm a history nerd. Yeah, and of course, Sabaton is a song about Midway, which was a pretty decent.
Okay,
song.
but seriously, guys, I don't mean to. I mean, I might as well go off topic since we have the time here. Go see Parasite. Like, please. I've seen it twice already. It is the best film of the year. I am not even kidding. Please go see it. It is so good.
Yeah. I think that on the unfortunate thing with how films are released is that they don't die down as much during Christmas time. If anything, they intensify. So if you made a top 10, it'd kind of be like, I honestly don't want to put that pressure on you, but it would be like, I imagine this would probably qualify on that list. And I would hope some other ones I've seen. Was it Hereditary? That was last year, wasn't it?
What have you seen all three of Shudder? But I'm sorry. What were you talking about? What films were you talking about? I'm sorry. I was busy.
I mentioned Red. I don't know what I was saying.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry. I'm stupid.
That's fine.
As is stupid.
Yeah. Doop-a-doo-whoop-oo,
Stop building. I can't just end me.
I mean, yeah.
Back at directing here. Yeah. guys. You saw that one coming from a mile away, absolutely. And
Chat, entertain us. Let's talk about stuff since we don't really have, since we're still waiting for Naka. He's going to be 3 to 5 more minutes.
Yeah, the director's name, I don't. I would have, at least by this point, at least once accidentally said Bill Condom. But
I make fun of the joke. I make a joke saying that he does,
Oh, the new ones. Yeah, sure. Talking about the new ones. Yeah. Yeah, probably gonna try to see him as soon as I can because, I've heard positive things about both of the first two. I don't know about the midway, but at least I don't fucking care what people think. I'm gonna go see it because I'm a fucking nerd, and I think that the last time that those historical films were released,
you consider yourself a nerd? Damn.
Historical nerd, I do.
Oh, well.
The as far as games, I guess, yeah, sure. But I don't know if it's gonna be as blown away, kind of performance as you had with Dunkirk and Darkest Hour. Those two films were excellent. I mean, Dunkirk for the cinematography and Darkest Hour for Gary Oldman, just probably one of the best. I mean, I can't say I've seen him in a better role. It's probably a career-defining role. He's did an amazing job being Churchill.
You really like Gary Oldman, don't you?
Especially in that role, he did a great job. But yeah, I still would see. I guess the first one, like in order that I might see, is probably Doctor Sleep. But even so, hello. There's probably going to be a chance to see the other one at home.
Oh wow! Can you take that away from him, please?
I'll mute the mic.
That's going to make it. That makes the problem worse. It angers the doggo.
Yeah.
Anyway, is this all we have to say about? I don't have much to say about this movie. I'll be honest.
Tucker has a lot to say.
Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna move on to our next film. Well, it's finally time for a movie that Naka is actually more excited to talk about than I am. Ford vs. Ferrari is a 2019 American biographical drama film directed by James Mangold and written by Jez Butterworth, John Henry Butterworth, and Jason Keller. It stars Matt Damon and Christian Bale, while John Bernthal, Catriona Balfe, Tracy Letts, Josh Lucas, Noah Jupe, Remo Gironi, and Ray McKinnon appear in supporting roles. In 1963, Enzo Ferrari was approached by the Ford Motor Company about a possible buyout of Ferrari. Talks were unilaterally cut off by Ferrari when Enzo realized that the deal included the purchase of the Scuderia Ferrari, Ferrari's racing program that had won the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 1958 and every year from 1960 through 1965. Le Mans is the world's oldest active sports car endurance race, held annually since 1923, upset at being rebuffed. Henry Ford II directed his racing division to build a car to beat Scuderia Ferrari. The film tells how automotive designer Carroll Shelby and race car driver Ken Miles lead a team of American engineers and designers from Ford to build a race car that can beat legendary Ferrari. Ultimately, they produced the Ford GT40 for a showdown at the 1966 24 Hours of Le Mans. Before I let Naka have the floor, the director of the film is James Mangold, director of The Wolverine and Logan, arguably one of the best X-Men movies ever made. Of course, we'll have to see what happens, and I'm liking that it does have a good director under his project, but of course, I don't have much to say on it. The film does release on November 15th if you're interested, and Naka, I'm just going to let you have the floor on this one. Naka?
Or a click hack.
Naka.
Oops, sorry.
No, sorry. That was a little embarrassing. Anyway,
that's my bad. It's my bad. Hey, better late than early.
All right, go.
That's what she said. The premise of Ferrari needed money. Ford was like, "Hey, we'll buy out Ferrari. These seem like a pretty cool racing, pretty cool guys." And while yes, Scuderia Ferrari was on the board, Enzo himself was like, "Yeah, we do need the money," but then he realized that that Ford was in NASCAR, and he didn't want his legendary Ferraris racing, against the good old boys with Dodge and Plymouth and AMC and Chevrolet and all those guys. So that's why he backed out of the deal. Rather rudely, in fact.
Really?
So Ford of Europe designs the GT40. They design the aerodynamics and everything. They design the body. And, they still needed an engine because no matter engine they tried on their own, wasn't working. In comes Carroll Shelby, who's the driver in the thing. Plonks in, I believe it was a 427 engine. 427 cubic inch engine. And there we go. The legend of the Ford GT40 is born. Let's see. Ford, they entered with 4 cars, I believe. Mm-hmm. It came out with 3. And at
is
the
this
end
coming? I don't mean to interrupt. Is this coming like off the top of your head?
A little bit off the top of my head and a bit off of, I looked it up real quick.
Okay, that's fine.
Because, I wasn't necessarily sure about certain details, but they entered 4 or 5 cars, and then they ended with 3. And they won the 1966 Le Mans 24 Hours race. They not only got first place with the GT40, they got second and third. They swept the podium, which is basically impossible nowadays. And
so Ferrari didn't win anything.
No, Ferrari, their highest position was 9th overall. Ooh. It was such a kick in the teeth.
It's like the clip from the trailer. It's like, I don't speak Italian, but I don't think he's happy. It's like,
no.
Oh, futuro Ferrari.
Let's see. And I believe Ford also won the 1967. Yeah, they had... Ford had won the second race they had entered with the GT40, that being the 1967. And then I believe they also won 68. They won 3 years in a row with the Ford GT40, or variations of the Ford GT40.
What's your opinion on Ford as a company?
I mean, it's pretty shitty what they're doing nowadays, focusing solely on crossovers. And, they don't have necessarily a people's car like the Fusion or the Taurus or the Focus. Ford as a company nowadays, I think, is taking steps in the wrong direction. And that's also kind of the same way with GM and, well, a lot of other companies. And then there's Chrysler. And then there's Chrysler. Yeah, just slap a supercharged V8 into a Jeep Grand Cherokee and a bunch of other vehicles. Yeah, we're cool guys, right?
You forgot Chevrolet.
Chevrolet, that's General Motors. They're focusing less on more, outside of Buick, they don't really have, GM is, they're closing down plants and stopping production, and they're like more sedans and compact cars. Because they don't sell well, and everybody wants crossovers, which is bullshit.
Anyway.
That's modern companies. But the story of Ford versus Ferrari, it's one of the greatest in all of motorsports history. It's the same with...
So you actually might go see this movie?
Yes, because of its history. It's up there with, the rivalry between Niki Lauda and James Hunt.
I was just about to mention that. I really liked that movie. I forget what it was called.
Rush.
I saw it. Rush. Yeah, it was a good movie.
It's the rivalry between
Niki Lauda
and Audi in the 1983 World Rally Championship.
Who is it? Who in Audi? Sorry.
Lancia.
Yeah, so
it's the story of the 1992 NASCAR Cup Series
James
champion,
Hunt and
Alan Kulwicki.
Nicky Lauda. I said Licky Nauda. Goddamn.
Anyway,
It's
that's all I have.
The
And-
fucking Germans.
The last thing is I want to bring up is that the Le Mans 24 Hour is one of the, I believe, 3 crown jewels in motorsport.
It's also the fiercest, I believe.
It is the fiercest because,
And
well,
it-
really any
yeah.
24-hour race is fierce. I do want to double check crown jewels of motorsport.
Like even you wouldn't do. Even you would
No.
probably never do Le Mans.
No, I couldn't do that.
24.
The Triple Crown of Motorsport, it is the Indianapolis 500, the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and the Monaco Grand Prix.
It sounds about right, I suppose.
There's only one driver, Graham Hill, has won all 3 events, but there are
Yeah, they're
several
not even like
drivers.
They're not even like a collective thing like the Triple Crown of horse racing.
Yeah, and there are several drivers who do have 2, and they're just missing that 3rd one. And basically, if you are even if you're going for the Triple Crown or you do succeed the Triple Crown, you are a legend in all of motorsport. Your name is going down in history. And
Yeah. So
you win Le Mans, you're going down in history. Anyway, I do want to go see this film. However, we have some more stuff to talk about now, don't we? Because you have, half page, 1, 2,
Yeah.
3,
2.5.
2.5, 3 pages.
Yeah.
yeah, that's fine.
I don't know
this
if you've
but
read
this should
it
be
or
easy.
if there's a movie. I don't think there's a movie about it yet, but not if you haven't read the book. The Art of Racing in the Rain.
Yeah, that's more about, I gotta be a family and everything, and it's
Yeah,
about
be a
being person.
doggo.
It's not.
But yeah, there's a racer, and of course, the name Enzo appears.
It's not a very good movie, from what I heard.
I don't know,
We're getting
I
off
think- I
topic.
think that was
We're gonna
by
move
purpose.
on.
We need to continue about
think that was
Charlie's
by
Angels, a
purpose,
reboot that
yeah.
doesn't need to exist.
Hey! I actually like this type of thing. Well, here's a reboot that plays as a sequel that is sure to get some hardcore fans or likely a lot of girl power fans who want to see what it brings.
If it has Christian Stewart,
Charlie-
it doesn't need to exist.
Charlie's Angels is an upcoming American action comedy film directed by Elizabeth Banks, who also wrote screenplay from a story by Ivan Spiliotopoulos and David Auburn. It is the 3rd installment in the Charlie's Angels film series, which is a continuation of a story that began with the television series of the same name by Ivan Goff and Ben Roberts, and the theatrical films Charlie's Angels that was released in 2000 and Charlie's Angels Full Throttle. The film stars Kristen Stewart, Naomi Scott, Ella Balinska, Elizabeth Banks, Jimon Honso, Sam Claflin, Noah Centineo, and Patrick Stewart. Yeah. Make all the jokes of Kristen Stewart not being able to act as much as you want. Guys, she's really come a long way. Cut her some slack.
Well, that's implying she can act at all.
Charlie's Angels has always provided security investigative skills to private clients. Now the Townsend agency has expanded internationally with the smartest and most highly trained women from all over the globe. Naka, did you do the poster?
Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it's fine.
I don't care about this movie.
Well, gee, thanks. I can tell by your attitude as to why you didn't even change it. Multiple teams of angels, guided by multiple Bosleys, completing the toughest missions around the world. When a young system engineer blows the whistle on a dangerous technology, these angels are called into action, putting their lives on the line to protect the people. Development of the film began in 2015 when Sony Pictures opted to reboot the franchise following the cancellation of the 2011 television reboot. The following months, Elizabeth Banks joined the project as director, producer, and writer. Principal photography began in September 2018 and took place in Germany and Turkey. Following the end of the filming, Banks revealed that the film was not a reboot but a continuation of the franchise story. Drew Barrymore, who starred in and produced the previous films, was later announced as an executive producer. So here's something that may shock you. I actually saw the 2 Charlie's Angels films, and I'll be perfectly honest, I really liked them. I really enjoyed them. For what they were, at least. I know a lot of people will probably see this as meh, but I don't know. I can't really say whether or not the show did justice projecting feminism the way feminism needs to be projected in the mid-70s and early 80s, but hey, whether or not it did, you can't really complain about 3 women trying to save the world. It's pretty consistent with its title. And if you say that it's too feminist now, well, fuck you. Your opinion doesn't have a leg to stand on. I'm sorry. With all that set aside, however, the film releases on November 15th. So, I mean,
It's too. feminist. Okay, that's
I
like
have no issue with like it being too feminist or whatever. That's not if you think that's a reason to not go see the film, you're fucking stupid and you need to
Exactly.
rethink your life.
Because that's exactly what people thought when they went to go see Terminator Dark Fate. Like, it was too feminist. I'm like, dude, did you see the two films? The lead is a female character. Like,
But here's the thing, making it about that, and that's kind of the thing I guess that Captain Marvel may have suffered from. I thought Captain Marvel was decent. I mean, in the context of the other Marvel films that are coming out, of course, that's you can understand why it wasn't maybe
Here's the
the
thing.
top one. But like this, the whole two feminist thing, if it is like hand smacking the back of your head overbearing, or if it's just the entire point of the movie existing, Ghostbusters, then that's kind of where it falls flat in its face. But I don't think that a female lead doing honestly probably is kick-ass stuff. I don't know much of also the stunts that came from this one, but I thought Atomic Blonde was quite good. I thought Captain Marvel was pretty good. Not in, of course that one had a different thing in relation to the rest of the Marvel movies, but whatever. This is the cancel culture we live in.
I assume neither of you both care about this movie at all.
Meh.
Krüz?
It's eh.
I mean, it just doesn't do anything for you.
No.
Okay.
It's not like
And,
no.
well. Alright, well, I mean, I said my piece. I'll probably go see this movie, but yeah, I just need to make sure,
But
just
again,
needed to get that out there.
If you think that a
because
movie is too feminist to go see it, you're full of shit. And
Yes.
people who think that, Ghostbusters 2016 was shit, because it was, it was about feminism and everything.
No, it
Go
was
fuck
shit because
yourself.
it was bad.
It was shitty because it was terribly written. The cast was unfunny. It was terribly written, and it didn't really need to be remade.
Exactly. Anyway, I'm going to move on because we have 2.5 pages of shit that we have to get through. So, we're going to move on to our coming attractions.
As all I can see is everything's fine. Sorry.
Bloodshot, a slain mobster, is reanimated with superpowers, and yeah, I really like this trailer. This trailer looks amazing. What do you have to say?
This actually does look pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Krüz?
What got my attention in this trailer was that the building you see about midway through it is actually the Hungarian Parliament building, which I've been to and around. I just smacked my microphone. Been around there for a spell. So I thought, I don't know, I saw some Hungarian words on the truck, so I don't know, I guess the film might be set there, at least in part. I know that when I saw both Captain Marvel and Endgame mentioned Budapest, and that got a little murmur of approval from the home crowd in Budapest, so to speak. But yeah, I see a lot of comments saying like, yeah, I've seen this movie before, it's cheesy. Yeah, that's what action movies are. That's kind of the fucking that's par for the course. And it's Vin Diesel, so of course everyone's gonna say, oh, it's the new Fast and Furious.
It's the new Chronicles of Riddick.
Exactly.
It's the new something or other.
Wait, did you just mention Chronicles of Riddick? Holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
Damn, I forgot. Was that movie good?
I don't know. I just knew he was in it.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway. Anyway, I'm going to move on to our next film, Antlers. A small-town Oregon teacher and a brother of the local sheriff become entwined with a young student harboring a dangerous secret with frightening consequences. I mean, it looks interesting. That's really all I can say about it, though. Naka, Krüz?
Meh.
Krüz?
I mean, as far as... I wasn't sure what was happening at first. It looked like he was feeding a kid, but like... Oh, no, sorry. I was thinking of a different... I was about to compare it to something, but that was a different movie. Yeah, an ad for another movie before watching this movie. I gotten the HBO. Well, it was an ad for the movie, but it was an ad for HBO. But I've got the ad that had Equalizer 2 about like half a fucking million times. I saw the movie. I enjoyed it. Okay, just leave me the fuck alone now. But yeah, it looks like it'd be a decently creepy movie. I don't know what else to say. There's not a lot of I don't know, it kind of looks a bit like Sinister to me.
Anyway, yeah. I'm gonna move on to our next film, The Invisible Man. A woman received the news.
Man. I'm the Invisible Man. Incredible how you can.
Before I disappear.
Enough! A woman receives the news of her abusive ex-boyfriend's suicide. She begins to rebuild her life for the better. However, she begins to suspect her deceased lover is not actually dead.
Jokes aside, it's actually pretty creepy, and I like that.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it's going for. If it's going for the more mental hallucinations or the supernatural. I like that it leaves that ambiguous because either it like gives you a moment when you like you nod your head, you're like, okay, it's going for this versus this. It's like you see the breath come out is saying behind her. You don't know. It's not even like Gone Girl. You don't even see that it's like a whole ploy or anything. So we don't really know the nature of how that's going on. So that leaves that a little more interesting to have for future hype of the thing.
Yes,
Now we get to talk about Nickelberg.
Naka?
I mean, I already said my piece. I like that it's kind of creepy, and you kind of don't know what it's going for, but at the same time, it's also interesting. And I did just want to make the Invisible Man joke. I'm sorry.
All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and move on to our next film, which is The Photograph, a series of intertwining love stories set in the past.
Every time I watch this movie, it makes me laugh.
No,
sorry,
but
that
really,
was too easy.
Naka, Krüz, what do you think?
Love stories. You lost me at about love and story.
Yeah.
You are not a fan of those, are you?
It's just a matter of like.
Yes. Really?
Cannot expect this to go unpunished.
Sorry.
No.
Sorry.
No.
I see jokes and I take the shot.
All right. Well, no. Seriously, what do you have to think about? What do you say about this trailer?
It's love stories that's like, oh, in the past, oh, it's if you time travel. I see this.
Wasn't
as
there
an
already a
absolute
movie
win.
about time travel love bullshit? But no, it's more specific
That
about that.
love stories are bullshit.
All right. Well, let's move on. I'm gonna move on to our next film, which, holy shit, this is a movie that I totally want to see. Wendy. Lost on a mysterious island where aging and time have come unglued, Wendy must fight to save her family, her freedom, and the joyous spirit of youth from the deadly peril of growing up.
What is that deadly?
So this is directed by Ben Seitlin.
Eventually you'll die.
This is directed by the critically acclaimed Ben Seitlin. He also directed Beast of the Southern Wild, which I actually saw, and he just kind of, after Beast of the Southern Wild came out and he, won awards, Ben Seitlin just kind of disappeared. Like, he made his movie, he did what he did, and
I could see a lot of parallels to how Beast of the Southern Wild looked, even though I only saw that a long time ago. But I could see a lot of parallels in like the aesthetic of it, the whole vague mysticism.
No, this particular Wendy is based off of Wendy Mora Angela Darling from.
Also, not the fast food restaurant either, which makes the best burgers come at me.
I can't watch the trailers without having a 15-second delay for the fucking ads. Well, here's the thing. The reason why we use it is because the reason why we get these particular trailers for ads is because I get really tired of having to pick the trailers that have 5-second, mini
shows. It's like, hey, by the way, we're screen trailers. Hey, look at us.
It just has the ad that pops up at the bottom. It's like, okay.
No. They have like a 5-second like mini clip video of the trailer that literally spoils the trailer, and I think it's so stupid. So that's the whole reason why, that is the reason why we use different advertising, for our shows, because unfortunately, even though there's advertisements, we just don't like the 5-second mini clips. That's all we have to do. So this is what we got.
You're the one who's picking the movie trailers, not me.
Right. So, I just don't like the 5-second mini clips that play before the trailer starts. So, this is why I choose this one. Anyway, we're going to move on to our next film that looks really gorgeous, which is a Pixar film known as Soul. A middle school music teacher finally gets a chance after impressing other jazz musicians during an opening act of the Half Note Club. However, an accident prevents him from doing so. This looks amazing. I have to say this right now. This looks incredible. Naka, Krüz, I understand you had a lot of mixed feelings regarding Onward. Like, it kind of left a weird taste in your mouth. But what do you have to say regarding this Pixar film?
It's a Pixar film?
Looks a little more genuine.
This is a Pixar film.
You can tell what I was doing this morning.
No, but really.
No, but, getting that shot, but not being able to take it because of something out of your control, it hurts. It hurts.
Yes.
And you want to just do everything to get that shot back, to be able to take it
again. And then the second you get the shot, you lose it all in one fell swoop, which is a little upsetting.
And there's a lot of...
Something mom spaghetti.
Yeah.
Because...
He had the chance to blow, which... Well, but spaghetti won't come out. I mean, there's a lot of instances of musicians being cut down in the prime, and the one that usually comes to mind for me first is Dimebag Darrell of Pantera, who was unfortunately shot during a performance in 2004, and that really kind of definitively ruled out a Pantera reunion. But like, right. I don't know exactly what happened, what's said with the accident. Like, he fell down a manhole drain thing,
right?
And then it became Inside Out? Question mark.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it could be telling a genuine story, and it definitely looks like something I'll probably watch at home. And I saw Coco much later than other people did, but
did you like Coco?
Yes, I did.
So would you see this movie?
Probably, yeah. Going along the same the music theme, sure.
The music is going to be done by Trent Reznor. He's literally
Trent Reznor did the soundtrack. I don't like dying.
Trent Reznor did.
Who invented Facebook? All I can think of is the guy who played the guy who invented Facebook. Who the fuck invented Facebook?
Jesse Eisenberg, man.
Fuck Jesse Eisenberg, man.
Wait, you know Trent Reznor?
Legal Austrians, goddamn, rowing the boats.
I don't know if it was Trent Reznor or Trent Resin. It's just from a Game Grumps bit.
It's a Game Grumps bit that we keep referencing.
Okay. Trent Reznor is literally a singer and songwriter, and he's a principal songwriter of the industrial rock band Nine Inch Nails, and he's actually going to be a composer for the film, and he's composing alongside Atticus Ross, who also
along with all of his works, I believe.
I believe so, and we're excited as ever. I can't wait to see this movie. I just hope it's going to be good. That's really all I can say. And with that, we are going to move on to probably the last bit of the show, our seasonal send-off, which we have a ton to talk about. Unfortunately, Krüz was not able to make visuals for these because we just did not have enough time. He was very, very busy, and we totally understand that. We respect his decision.
I still am.
Yeah,
I didn't know these were happening. I saw the Melodorian, at least the trailer of that.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna bullet jump through these. I know it sounds weird, but we don't have enough time. We have to continue. At least we have more than enough time, and we're not gonna hit the 4-hour mark. So let's continue. Seasonal send-off, premiering on Disney Plus December 12th, we have The Mandalorian, After the End of the Empire and Before the First Order. A series tells the story of a lone bounty hunter who questions his own morals. And then we have Lady and the Tramp, 2019. A young, beautiful dog realizes there's more to life when she meets a scoundrel mutt that sweeps her off her feet and tells her there's more to life than to live with humans. These films will be the series and the film will be released on Disney Plus. If you want to look more on that, we
have a bounty hunter and his favorite animal, his Boba pet. Funny joke.
You guys watch way too many. You guys watch way too much Game Grumps. I'm just saying that. Seriously. No, but really, I think you can tell which one I kind of want to see.
I want to see The Mandalorian more, and Lady and the Tramp can go die in a dumpster fire.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't have any intention of seeing Lady and the Tramp. Sorry.
I assume you're looking at Lady in the Tramp Shutter, and I
It is live
sort
action.
of
It is sort of live action, but it's also
because they in the first part of the trailer they show the lady, like the regular dog, and then they show it with like CGI faces.
the dogs are real, the faces are not. Let's just
But like you see a very clear for an extended shot of when it's a regular face. So like when does that change? When the dog obtains sentience suddenly?
I mean, I'm just gonna be brutally honest. Homeward Bound is better than fucking Lady and the Tramp. Yeah, I said it. Anyway, we're gonna move on to our seasonal send-off for the in theaters. Well, I'm just gonna Naka, I need you to not go on a rant, okay?
Fuck this movie. There
I
we
need
go.
you
It
not
can
to-
die.
Okay. All right. We're gonna move on to coming out on November 22nd. We have 4 films coming out on November 22nd. Frozen 2, where 4 friends, one who has the power to control ice and snow, go far in the forest to know the truth about an ancient mystery.
Or
of
you
their
could watch a
kingdom.
more engaging one who has control over that, and it's a show called Ruby.
A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
I don't know.
The true story relationship between a man who captivated millions to learn and love with a journalist. 21 Bridges.
Neighbor.
An expertly trained NYPD detective puts all of New York City on a lockdown in the order for him and the other authorities to defeat a duo of cop killers who may or may not have killed his father. And Dark Waters,
Bear with me for a second about 21 Bridges. It's kind of, the premise of, shutting down New York and shutting out all ways to get out kind of reminds me of the most recent Purge film, The First Purge, where they basically just shut down all of Long Island and, they block off all the bridges to get out in tunnels. That's where I'm kind of seeing that vibe from, except they're trying to keep in a criminal, not keep people from escaping.
I for a second thought you were going to say Percy Jackson and was going to agree because the 5th book of the original Percy Jackson series is basically because the access point to Mount Olympus is located in the Empire State Building, and so the enemy forces are advancing on Manhattan, and so they have to cut off all the bridge access, and then eventually they have to fall back to the center of the city. Yeah.
Anyway, and our final film that is coming out into the 22nd is Dark Waters. A corporate defense attorney takes on an environmental lawsuit against a chemical company that exposes a lengthy history of pollution.
Michigan.
So, believe it or not, I kind of want to see all of these films. Believe it or so, guys,
you get to see where the nerd Hulk, storyline goes to with Dark Waters.
With Frozen 2, I wanted to let you know, guys. I hope you're not gonna fault, Joaquin Baldwin, the animator of Disney, who is well known by the furries, because he works really hard.
I'm not blaming him. I
don't know how much his
like
involvement
the Frozen
is.
Franchise. I hate it with a passion, and it's not his fault. And I'm not gonna go yell at him. It's like, oh, why did you make this thing? Why
he works hard.
Be able to work
it wasn't solely responsible. We know that.
I mean, he works really hard, and
I met him. We went and they had lunch. It was at the next table at Anthrocon 2017. But
and you got to talk with him
a little bit, yeah. I don't know the level of his involvement specifically. I guess in either Frozen 1 or 2, but honestly, I think that the second one looks more of a story. What annoyed me about the first one was that, other than just kind of like when you introduce a new kind of animated movie of this style, there's a lot riding on the first aesthetic, which is consistent among Disney animated films, in this case, in Disney Pixar.
So believe it or not, while you guys...
Sometimes there's like a music component, which they went way overkill with on Let It Go. And then every 5-year-old girl in the fucking world having like a whole Frozen backpack or whatever the shit, that is the shit that really is a turnoff.
Advertising, man. Advertising, man. That's how it works. I mean,
advertising for if you really need that much advertising to sell that product, it's
more merchandising than it's more merchandising.
Frozen the backpack, Frozen the shoe, Frozen the toilet paper, Frozen the breakfast cereal.
Frozen
Anyway.
the flamethrower. The kids really love this one.
Anyway, guys, I don't want to take this as I don't want to take this as, what is that phrase you use, that word that you use when you're trying to tell the truth? I don't know. I don't know if this is the truth, but I'm actually going to, I might, don't count on it. I might be going to a private screening that I was invited to by Joaquin Baldwin and all guys, and I will let you know.
Hey, you're invited to a private screening. Don't care what movie it is. I'd go to that private screening because it's a private screening.
You'd go to a okay. I'm sorry. You'd go to a private screening of Frozen 2.
Yeah, and just be like, I'll just sit here, just drink whatever, and just try to make fun of the whole thing for plot wise.
It's free real estate.
And
right.
Also try to have a conversation with Joaquin Baldwin. It's like and fully going in understanding, it's like, this is not my movie. I never liked this franchise, but there's still people in the industry that I can talk to about animation and everything, because I still have somewhat of an interest.
Who
and
works
passion in
hard?
it,
Yeah.
And I'm not going to shame people for their hard work. Why? That's basically, it's like saying a musician that's like you're saying to a musician, oh, your music sucks because I don't like it. It's bullshit. The argument's bullshit.
Exactly.
Because they work so hard, and that's why I always say I respect people as artists for the music that they craft.
We're even faulting an
I
artist for one
respect
shitty album.
the people behind everything, even if I don't like the end product.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's people's lives they put into these things. It could be some pile of crap that I call Frozen 2, or it could be something beautiful that I love, like Ford versus Ferrari. It is people's lives, and I'm not going to shit on the people who make the movie. I just don't like the movie. You know what I mean? Or I don't like the music style, or I just don't like the music as a whole.
All right.
I've always wanted to point that out. Like, I've never liked Frozen because it's it's absolute bullshit all they got. But I can still admire and respect the people who created everything about it.
And worked hard on it.
And worked hard on it.
Yeah.
Critique these constructive reasons. And my critiques of movies, when I'm serious about it, I'm trying to be, constructive. I'm not trying to be deconstructive. It's like, oh, he's a piece of shit, you should go home. Because that's not going to get anywhere.
Right. And I will see Frozen 2. I have to see it because I've seen every Disney film there is. And
go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. I'm not your dad.
Exactly.
And even if I was, you're going out to see a movie. I don't care.
Exactly. Anyway,
hookers and blow it. You can do that too.
A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood is actually another movie that I really want to see, and Dark Waters. I don't know about 21 Bridges, but anyway, we're going to move on to our next two films that are going to be coming out on the 27th. The first one that we have is Knives Out. A detective investigates the death of a patriarch and a eccentric combative family. And Queen and Slim. A couple's first date takes an unexpected turn when a police pulls them over and is accidentally murdered. They go on the run to avoid authorities as they make a new name for themselves. I want to see both of these. These look amazing, especially Knives Out.
A lot of good things I'm hearing about Knives Out.
There is nothing more satisfying than Chris Evans finally being able to curse. No offense.
And definitely, technically he did. You get to say that's America's ass, but that's that point aside. Knives Out definitely has an all-star cast and looks like a pretty solid obviously they say it's a whodunit kind of thing, but I think it's probably going to be able to live up to its hype. It seems like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm more for Knives Out than Queen and Slim just because of the premise. Because it's Man on the Run. It's basically, Bonnie and Clyde, Thelma and Louise. Oh, somebody accidentally died. We did it. Let's get out of here, Chief.
No, but seriously, Queen and Slim does look amazing.
Run.
No, Krüz, stop. Queen and Slim does look amazing, and I really want to see it. I mean, it's directed by, I forgot who's directing it. I believe it's, Melina Matsoukas. So she's directed a ton of music videos, and, this is actually her first directorial film. So this will be interesting. I just hope it does good.
I hope it does well, and I hope they have a successful career.
Exactly. Anyway, we're going to move on to our next 3 films, which is that are going to be coming out on December 6th. First, we have The Aeronauts. A pilot and scientist find themselves in an epic fight for survival while attempting to make discoveries in a hot air balloon to create the idea of predicting the weather. Daniel Isn't Real. A troubled college freshman suffers a violent family trauma and resurrects his childhood imaginary friend to help him cope. And The Banker.
Is that what happened in that trailer?
Story of one of the first African-American bankers in the U.S. that is going to be produced on Apple Plus before it actually goes to, theaters. And yes, I don't know if anyone noticed, but I believe Apple TV is actually going to be making their own streaming services because...
Yes, they already have advertised their own exclusive
They already
shows.
have a few things going on.
I've seen them on the ESPNs.
So Daniel Isn't Real was a trailer that I completely skipped over that I didn't get to see, and unfortunately I saw it, and it stars, I believe, Arnold Schwarzenegger's son. I believe, could be wrong. I believe it's.
If you want to go for something that's probably psychotic, I guess that's it. But I could not tell you what the fuck was happening. Aeronauts, I guess solid. I like Eddie Redmayne. Banker.
My only problem
Samuel
with
Jackson, definitely a funny role.
I think my only problem with the Aeronauts is the fact that it's actually going to be historically inaccurate since the 2 main roles were actually 2 men as opposed to a man and a woman, just to basically increase the basically to have a love story, and it's so
Because it's 2019.
and I'm never a fan of that when people like to do that.
Yeah,
but,
revisionist history.
Yeah, that's always fun. Naka, what do you have to say?
The Aeronauts, because I loved the weather as a kid, and I still kind of do. It does intrigue me, which is why I love lightning storms.
Oh, really?
Where, 10, 11 years ago, I was scared to death of lightning. But nowadays, I'm just like, holy fuck, a lightning strike? Yeah, let's go! And then you have one that shakes the house and is like, oh, it's awesome!
Ah, fuck! My dog is just like...
Anyway.
But
we're going to move on. Yeah.
Anyway, there's that. Then Daniel Isn't Real. You got trauma and, probably... And, he's having to try to cope with it and brings up an imaginary friend. People have different ways of dealing
I don't
with
know
trauma
if there was a
and coping
friend or
with
people
it.
just killing each other.
And people have just different ways of coping with trauma. For me, it's just music, driving, and video games. But, there is a point where it can become unhealthy, like drugs, alcohol, and, maybe an imaginary friend who's telling you to summon Satan and eat your children.
Anyway, we're going to go ahead and move on to our next 6 films. Yeah, I had to look them all up because I didn't realize that they were going to be very interesting indeed. These 6 films are going to be released on December 13th. The first one that we can talk about is Jumanji: The Next Level.
Nope.
A group of adults get sucked into a video game where they are now the video game's character,
Maybe a little too soon.
Yeah.
I thought the last Jumanji thing was alright.
I did forget one film that was
Maybe
coming
a little
out,
too
which
soon.
which is Black Christmas. I forgot to make a trailer for that, so I apologize. We're gonna have to skip that one, and we're gonna have to move on to the next
6
one.
Underground, which is billionaires. They become the Phantom Thieves to take down notorious criminals. It's Persona 5, except with billionaires instead of high school students.
Basically, you sound disinterested by this trailer.
About 6 Underground? Hell no, I'm not.
Oh, you're intrigued.
Yeah, that's why I made the comparison. I was like, yeah, let's do this. And you have Ryan Reynolds in the bloody thing, I think.
Yeah. And all right, we're gonna move on to our.
I think Black Christmas. Not to say about that, but I was remembered Dead Meat to cover that, so I guess it's another supposed reboot of that series, so to speak, which has its own merits as a slasher genre. If you're wondering what kind of movie it is, probably.
All right, let's move on to our next film, which is Bombshell, where a group of women decide to take on Fox News head anchor and the toxic atmosphere he presided over the network. Honestly, I know this sounds
Bombshell. It's time to end.
On it, dude, I really want to see this. I really want to see this. It looks amazing.
Dude, just
I mean,
watch MSNBC for 2 hours and you'll be fine.
I mean,
Jokes aside, it does look like it's a great film, and the heads of these news organizations are actually really shitty people.
exactly. And
There's a story about somebody from
Yeah.
like ABC News had a story about Jeffrey Epstein like 3 years ago, and it was shut down because the heads were saying, "Oh, who's Jeffrey Epstein?" No, like nothing will come of this. She's
and
pissed.
and Will
For
Ferrell
good
was
reason.
right. When Ferrell was right when he exclaimed that Mount Lauer can suck it.
Mount
Lauer can suck it.
Our next film is Richard Jewell, an American security guard, heroically saves thousands of lives from an exploding bomb at the 1996 Olympics, but is unjustly vilified by journalists and the press who falsely report that he was the terrorist.
Thank you, mainstream
Yeah,
media. You do so much good for us.
This movie looks interesting, about a guy who literally saved the 1996 Olympics. I mean, how amazing is that,
Yeah, he saves the Olympics, but then is called a terrorist because he saved the Olympics thanks to the mainstream media, and you can see why I don't trust it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as you say it, it's not that it becomes true, but it might as well be just because of the damage it does to reputation.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by and large, is irreparable in most cases.
Anyway, we're going to move on to our next film, which is Uncut Gems. I put a star here because it is I believe, a Red Band trailer. A jewelry store owner and dealer to the rich and famous must find a way to pay his debts when his merchandise is taken from one of his top sellers and girlfriend. So, guys, this is a film that stars Adam Sandler, and he's actually, acting. Because the other films that he was in, they were either throwaway or complete garbage. So it's good to see him in something like this. I don't know about you guys, but holy shit, this looks amazing.
Adam
I was like,
Sandler
when
in
is
an
he gonna-
actual acting role? What is this, 2019?
When is he gonna crack a one-liner? Oh wait, he's actually being serious.
No, but
I mean,
Yeah.
I actually do believe that he can be a good actor. It's just like a lot of his previous stuff kind of disproves my point. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
I
mean,
hope
it's good that
I hope his role is actually great.
It's good that he's actually decided to step it up the notch, especially since he's making a film that is actually produced by A24, distributed by A24. So only time will tell. And our last film that this is probably the one that I want to see the most. A Hidden Life. An Austrian conscientious objector must choose between his faith or his country, or what he believes in, after refusing to fight for the Third Reich in World War II. This is the one that I really want to see the most. The stuff looks amazing. So all I have to say it. The price is wrong, Bob. Okay, I just
The price is wrong, bitch.
But anyway, what do you have to say regarding The Hidden Life? Because this looks amazing. The cinematography looks gorgeous.
I've already kind of talked about it beforehand, where it's like do I save my family and try to protect my country, or do I join something that could be greater and could be more prosperous for my family, and not knowing what actually the future would entail.
Yeah, I think if I gave a little bit on this too, but in Austria, of course, a country that really was, it just kind of happened more like, before anyone could really approve or deny it. And so, again, you had, conscientious objector, which, of course, like South Park really made fun of. But yeah.
Like I love the I love that
think
episode where he wears a T-shirt that says "My body, my choice."
It's a picture of ovaries.
It's so stupid.
No, seriousness, I think this one definitely like a definite moral struggle. I think the film mostly that this one would remind me of is Monsieur Batignolles. It's a French movie about a guy who it's just that he isn't Jewish, but his neighbors are, and they live in Vichy, France, and so that some of them are kids, they just end up like just sort of appearing in his house, and they think, or like some of them bring their friends, and like he's like, shit, I gotta protect them, and then eventually is able to escort them to Switzerland, and that's happy ending kind of thing. But like it kind of reminds me of that a little bit in the terms of like you have to the circumstances are more forced upon you in which you have to act, and that really it's honestly a hard thing to do because retroactively you weren't sure what to expect when the Fuhrer comes marching into your country. You think, okay, either this is really good or really bad. Retroactively, we know it's really bad, but thinking in the minds of how people thought at the time, this is definitely a much harder choice than it would have been made out to be today.
I agree.
That's the thing that people might mistake. It's like they did thinking of what they knew at the time. They didn't know that hindsight is always 20/20, but looking back, it's fuzzy.
All right, so yeah, we're gonna go ahead and move on to our next two films. We're gonna talk about the second one a little bit more extensively because we need to get rid of this one first.
You saw it. Just get rid of it.
December 20th, cats, a tribe of cats must decide yearly which one will ascend to the heavens, to the Heaviside layer, and come back to a new life. So
I was about to just replace cats with cunts because only cunts thought this was a good idea for this movie to be made.
So, fun fact, the director for this is, I think, Tom Hooper, who directed Les Miserables and the what was it? King's Speech, The King's Speech. I don't know how to feel about this particular film, if only because, well, the CG looks awful.
What kind of crack was he smoking to think that this was a good idea?
All of it.
I have no idea, but it received overwhelmingly negative reactions from the viewers.
Yeah, this is like
So
the
bad.
fucking. This is like the fucking the live action Cat in the Hat, terrifying looking movie.
So bad, in
Same
fact,
faces.
that even John Oliver took a look at the trailer and he said, "No,
Unfucking acceptable.
yes." He actually agreed.
At least he
that
can be
and
funny, whereas Trevor Noah is just a fucking hack. Changed my mind.
And for people who think that cats were furries, well, I'm sorry, you're wrong because
This
that's not
isn't
what,
what
a furry
we
looks
meant.
Like. Yes, exactly.
Not like this.
No. It's like quit, shit, go back. It's
Upgrade. Fuck, go back.
exactly. It's basically freaking who's the guy who runs SpaceX? I forgot.
Elon Musk.
Yeah, it's Elon Musk again. So anyway,
my last beer.
Anyway,
This is a Miller High Life.
that's all. I think that's all we have to say regarding cats, right?
Yeah, fuck it.
All right.
Meow.
And you call yourself a wolf. Anyway, Star Wars Episode 9: The Rise of Skywalker.
I already have my
As a matter of
tickets.
fact, I do, bitch.
A year after the events of The Last Jedi, the film now takes a dark and unexpected turn as old allies and old foes come back for one final battle.
I already have my tickets for this.
Oh, really?
My sister got a set of 4 for the Cinerama in Seattle for us to go see it on, I believe,
IMAX
the
or 2D?
28th.
IMAX or 2D?
I'm not sure, but either way, it's the new Star Wars film within about the first 10 days, which means I will need to stay off the internet.
Oh, well, I think everyone will need to stay off the internet for the first 10 days. And I would have to scroll up as soon as I see Star Wars, so... I'm not as ecstatic for this one, if only because it's not that I don't like Star Wars, it's just that... I don't know, it's
After The Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi I can forgive because there are some things that are actually good in The Last Jedi. It's just not everything is picture perfect.
Whoa, Leia has magical force powers, even though she should be dead.
Dude, Leia is literally... What are you talking about? Leia
Mary
is literally
Poppins.
the twin brother
I'm Mary Poppins,
of
y'all.
Princess Leia, or General Leia, whoever you want to call it. She is the twin brother of Luke Skywalker. She had force powers in the first original trilogy. What the hell are you talking
she did
about?
not pull that bullshit out of her ass. You cannot tell me that did not look like Mary Poppins.
I don't know. Maybe Luke trained her.
It was
You ever
a
think of that?
little ridiculous.
I mean,
There was
I
no
don't know.
indication that was the thing. That was the only thing that was like, okay, come on.
Yeah.
But
Anyway.
we'll see how this goes. Because honestly, I think people are seeming to like the more offshoot stuff, like Rogue One and
Solo.
hell, even Solo.
Honestly,
Solo was not that bad. I enjoyed it.
the reason that this
I
is
still
set
think
up
Rogue
is
One was better.
Yeah, oh, Rogue One was amazing, guys. Rogue One was fantastic. What do you have to say regarding? I mean, you guys are gonna see this, obviously, but you know.
Yeah, no, I'm already gonna go see it. It is probably going to be the best one of this trilogy, of the First Order trilogy.
Fun fact: after this trilogy, John Williams, the composer, he is officially retiring from Star Wars music.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind
Has he
of.
been doing it the whole time, you're saying?
Yeah.
He's been. John Williams is a fucking mastermind. I mean, he's been around for a long time. I mean, like he composed Star Wars in 1977. He's 87 now, and he's still composing Star Wars. You know, so it's kind of sad that we have to see him go. But you know,
Commit to the craft.
but at the same time, you know, you can't argue that, you know, hey, Michael, there's plenty of other composers who can do him justice, like Michael Giacchino, you know, all those other people. But hey, we'll just have to wait and see. Oh, and in case if anyone notices, the reason why Cats and Star Wars is pretty much in the same weekend. The way that it's set up is that if Star Wars is already sold out, people are already at the theater, they're probably going to go see Cats instead. That's kind of how it works.
That's gross.
Yeah,
What?
it's a really
see cats instead of what?
it's a really gross concept, and I'm never a fan of it. But you know, we like Star Wars. And with that, we're going to move on to our next 4 films. Those will be released, you know, pretty much in time during Christmas.
On Christmas Day, you see 4 films coming into theaters on Christmas Day in the morning. Sorry,
It's once a year. It's Christmas time,
hey,
and
dog,
it happens.
5-10 more minutes. 5 to 10 more minutes, dog.
Spies in Disguise. A charming school spy teams up with a gadget nerd who must rely on each other to save the world. Little Women. 4 sisters come of age in America in the aftermath of the Civil War. 1917. At the height of the First World War, 2 young British soldiers are given a seemingly impossible mission, crossing enemy territory to deliver a warning of a trap to save 1,600 soldiers. And Just Mercy, a civil rights defense attorney, recounts his experience and details the case of a condemned death row prisoner whom he fought to free.
1917 is the big one I want to go see. I'm going to keep quiet just so my dog doesn't freak out.
Yeah.
So 1917 is actually directed by Sam Mendes, who also directed American Beauty, which I keep telling Naka to go see since he owns it. And he also directed Skyfall, I believe, which was also interesting. So
I think, yeah, we showed this because one of the classes this semester is about World War II history, or World War One, sorry, rather. And yeah, so we showed it, and yeah, the professor was like pretty interested in it. So yeah, I'd like to see it. Yeah, we might convince family to go see it because we're probably going to Florida for the holidays again.
I do want to see
we'll
Just
see.
Mercy. Little Women, I'm a little.
Yeah, I like Michael B. Jordan, and I think apparently, speaking of Michael B. Jordan, Rooster Teeth's series Genlock, although it's on Rooster Teeth's site, apparently it's going to be also on HBO, I believe. I don't know what that also means. I hope that also means it's still available on the RT site, which I pay
It
for
should be. It's their product
early
first.
access and exclusive access to it. Yeah, but yeah, I think it was a decent series. People were like, "Oh, the frame rate." It's like that's the artist, fucking retards. But yeah, that starred Michael B. Jordan, Maisie Williams, and some other people from the RT staff. And also, yeah, Ruby's starring again.
Anyway.
So far, the 2 episodes are good. But apart from that, yeah, 1917 definitely looks to stand out among these.
All right. Well, we're gonna move on to our I want to see Just Mercy. Little Women, I don't know if I want to see, if only because there's been like 7 adaptations of that movie. But at the same time, I also want to see what Greta Gerwig does, since she also did Lady Bird, which was a very good film. But we'll just have to wait and see. Spies in Disguise. That's really all I have to say. I don't really know what to say regarding it. I don't understand.
Simulator is already a game that you can play, and it looks fun as shit because you can carry people and make things explode.
I'd rather play Untitled Goose Game, but anyway,
which is quite fun. Hyonk hyonk.
Anyway, we're going to move on to our very lone film that is going to be released in early 2020 on January 3rd, which is going to be The Grudge. A house is cursed by a vengeful ghost that dooms those who enter it with a violent death. I never saw the Grudge series. I really don't know what to think of it. Krüz, I mean...
I don't know if it's a series. I've seen The Grudge, which I believe was Japanese.
It was a Japanese film that was Americanized to basically make an American film, basically. It's the same with The Ring.
Directed by Takashi Shimizu. Produced by Sam Raimi. Oh, there you go. That's a title name right there.
Wait, The Grudge 2020 is direct... Oh. Yeah, it's directed by... Yeah, produced by Sam Raimi.
Yeah, I think the original, the 2004 one was also produced by Sam Raimi. Mm-hmm. Who, if you don't know, produced The Evil Dead, which I think was a great reboot of the original. Although, as it doesn't have Bruce Campbell, and I still need to watch the rest of the Netflix series of Ash vs. Evil Dead. I didn't know it was coming back, and it is. But Bruce Campbell is probably one of my favorite people ever, just because he's such an awesome actor. Ash vs. Evil Dead is great horror comedy, and I think that's what Evil Dead really specialized in. Then the more recent one was a darker one, but Sam Raimi's Evil Dead really kind of, I guess, somewhat revolutionized slashers in terms of how much you could do with the camera.
And the first Spider-Man was good. The second Spider-Man was
and he also did the Spider-Man, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man series.
Yeah. Spider-Man 2 is the best. Just saying.
Yeah, I don't know if there's much disagreement there, but yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Naka, what do you have to say regarding The Grudge?
Pizza time.
I think you want to move on, don't you? Right?
Yeah, sorry. I'm trying to keep quiet because my dog's actually, I want to wrap this up before I take him out again.
All right. Well, we're gonna,
guys. I don't really have much to say right now.
All right, we're going to move on to our next three films that are going to be released on January 10th. The first one is Underwater. A crew of underwater researchers must scramble to safety after an earthquake devastates their subterranean laboratory. Like a Baus, two female friends with very different ideals decide to start a beauty company together. One is more practical, while the other one wants to earn her fortune and live a lavish lifestyle. And My Spy, a hardened CIA operative, finds himself at the mercy of a precocious 9-year-old girl, having been sent to do undercover to surveil her family. As you can see, the only one that I want to really see is Underwater, because the other two films look
Yeah, I'll give you that. And like a boss, she's gonna trade her life for fortune and fame. She'll even cut her hair and change her name. Cause she all just wanna be big rock stars and live in hilltop houses driving 15 cars. Okay, I'm done.
For a second there, I thought you were singing. I thought you were singing Old Town Road for a second.
No.
That's,
that song is dead and buried. I don't understand, because here's the thing, that it's not that I'd seen so many memes of that before I actually heard the song, and they heard the song, and I'm like, that's what the meme is about? It's the most underwhelming shit I've heard in years. I mean, it's just supremely underwhelming, but I don't know, of these, where are these? These are you have 1-3 and then 1-10, 1-10, 1-10. Dave Bautista, sure, but it looks a little too much like, we all saw a game plan with Dwayne Johnson, and it kind of really...
And his phosphorescent white teeth, seriously.
Yeah, and also it said it was produced, I think it said it was produced or directed by someone related to Get Smart, the recent one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think you know what you're going to get. It's kind of a family-friendly comedy, probably what with Playing with Fire, I guess, which I don't know it's going to be. But yeah, not much to go on here except for The Grudge. I'm interested to look into that because I didn't know that it was coming back, or like how it's going to relate to the original story, but we'll see about that.
Yeah.
I imagine Dead Meat might have something to say about that as well.
Anyway, we're going to move on. I don't really know what to say regarding either of these two films. They look and we only have a handful of films left to go. We're going to move on
to Dr. Dolittle 4, The Recorder of Doom.
No, really. December 17th.
January
2020.
17th.
Iron
January
Man.
17th, sorry.
Is confused. Yes, is a quantity. Yes, that's kind of the joke. It's like, how many reams of paper did you need for this? Yes.
So we have Doolittle, the story of a young veterinarian who has the supernatural ability to speak to animals, and
that both features current Spider-Man and Iron Man in the same film. I'm not joking.
And I completely lost interest after I saw the animals talking. No offense. Like,
Well, that's
and
the
then,
whole thing about Dr. Doolittle, is that
Well,
he can
I
talk to animals and the animals talk back to him.
well, I know, but it's
Dr.
just
Doolittle is
CG,
the one who
dude.
closes out games to the Washington National.
The CG on the animals' mouths, like. I'm gonna make a bold statement. Lady and the Tramp's CG mouths look more natural than they do. But anyway,
I was talking about the what's the fucking movie Kevin James in the zoo?
and then the next Zoolander 2. I don't know.
No,
And
that's
then-
not Zoolander. I think that's just like we built a zoo or something.
No, that was the one with Matt Damon.
As long as it's not like furry vengeance. But anyway, Bad Boys for Life is our next film. A police inspector and his former partner is in a midlife crisis. They unite again with when an Albanian mercenary whose brother they killed promises them an important bonus. I didn't see the other two Bad Boys films, so I don't really know how to feel about this one. But hey, it's there.
I know I saw one of them. I don't remember which one, but sure.
Anyway,
Both Bad Boys films are on Netflix, I believe.
just go see Hot Fuzz. Hot Fuzz is the better option of the three of them.
I'll give
Anyway.
you that.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to move on to our next set of films. The Turning, a young governor. This is going to be released on December 24th.
January 24th.
January
2020.
24th. Oh my god, it's the instance where I have to not write 19 at the end, but write 20 instead. The Turning, January 24th. All of these next three films, January 24th. A young governess is hired by a man who has become responsible for his young nephew and niece after the deaths of his parent. The Gentleman, a very British drug lord who tries to sell off his highly profitable marijuana empire to a dynasty of Oklahoma billionaires.
He needs some more integrity.
And Color Out of Space. A town is struck by a meteorite and the fallout is catastrophic. So, regarding Color Out of Space, we have fucking Nicolas Cage, and we haven't seen him in a goddamn while.
It's
What
like
in the name of Zeus's butthole am I doing with this thermos full of fingers?
It's kind of as much as I would like to forget it. It looks a little bit like in his like weird apocalyptic role of the knowing, but I honestly, because we had to read this for a class, I sort of like skim cheated reading it, but this was one of the stories that was involved in my horror fiction class I took a while ago.
What do you think of the trailer?
The Color Out of Space. It kind of hints at what the original thing was about, with how the Color Out of Space is kind of like with I saw connections with it in Stranger Things, because it like when the thing landed, all the crops around it started dying, and that was kind of like the thing with the underground tunnels of the upside down and stuff like that.
Right.
Because they didn't know if the color item thing was radioactive or not, because whenever they tried to test it, it would just vanish. And so it's kind of like that whole, it's fear of the unknown writ large, basically. But yeah, so I think it could be an interesting movie. I just don't know where it's really planning to go. But sure, looks kind of interesting. We'll see what Nicolas Cage can bring to the table here.
And finally, our last two films of the night that we are going to talk about is The Rhythm Section. A woman seeks revenge against those who orchestrated a plane crash that killed her family. This will be released on January 31st, 20. And Gretel and Hansel, a young girl, leads her little brother into a dark wood in desperate search of a food and work, only to stumble upon a nexus of terrifying evil.
Whoops.
I hope it's not just going to be like, oh, it's a gingerbread house. Oh, we shouldn't go inside and we're going to get hoaxed by a witch. I hope they get fucking murdered.
Exactly.
It seems like that's the tone that they're going for here, and that is exciting for me. The last, I don't know what it was. It was Jeremy Renner, and I forget who the other one was, but it was that Hansel and Gretel, but they were like vampire hunters or whatever shit. That is a pretty cheesy movie, but it was like kind of funny. But
Anyway,
this one, I guess I like the more dark, sinister take on it.
so I mean,
Yeah.
it does look interesting. So, in case you guys were wondering, you may be wondering, Scarfy, that is the entire month of January, and I will have to say that is correct because we are going to be returning back February. I know that's a long time for a while, but unfortunately, I just have too much to do. I might be going to another convention. I'm going to be out of town until the 31st. I have school that is going to be going on. I believe the 19th. I could be wrong. We just have to wait and see. But hopefully, I am hoping that is going to tie up our loose ends. And I have to say that this was a pretty good season. All things considered,
considered, it has been pretty good. I'll give you that.
Minus the, unfortunate...
Only minorly fucked up.
Reality.
Only mild fake disappointment.
As for episode 76, I will probably... talk to my co-host and see if we can record sometime in mid-December for the show.
Yeah, that'll be our Christmas special.
Well, I wish it could be our Christmas special, but hey, it's going to be released out of order.
Christmas in
unfortunately.
Appalachia.
I didn't want this to happen either, guys. I really didn't, but it's just, it's the way it is. Other than that, what did you guys think about this season?
Hold on. .tv, so I start. I'm plugging my Twitch page again, just because I will be going live probably in about an hour or so. Let's see. To be determined, may take the year off. Other than, I wish we could do more this season, but I've actually had a pretty busy life myself, albeit. And
don't know if I'm going to any cons until I furthermore rolls around again because they moved
I don't
again.
think I'll be able to actually go to A&W, the convention itself. I am hoping to, see Shut or buy him lunch or something, hang out, maybe show him like what the hell I do in school
because now furthermore is in Arlington, which I used to deliver food in Arlington, and Arlington, Virginia fucking sucks.
Yeah,
Yes.
and yes, I will admit the season is a little short. Still fun. I wish we could continue, but life happens. And
Yes, it does.
the past 6 months for me and going into December and everything have been probably the busiest my life has been in ever.
And I got a paper
with all the
doing
ups and downs and
fucking
everything.
less than 2 weeks that I've got that, not to say my college graduation hinges on it, but it all but does. So I'm gonna have to get back to doing that shit.
No, and their education, it's a lot more intensive than my education. So, considering everything, unfortunately we do have to cut it. However, like I said, if you want to come hang out and just see me play video games, shoot the shit or whatever, I will be streaming over on twitch.tv/RKD_Subwuffer. Wonder if you could pick up the void as in be on or create something. You could totally do that. Just be and it's like, hey, and we broadcast it we'd signal boost you, of course, because we're friends. That's what friends do. They signal boost each other. Just be like, hey, we support each other.
Yes, indeed.
But
Anyway, guys, the season was a little short, but hey, we did our best, and we can only hope that we can only have a good show, a good start from here. Anyway, guys, that has been Subwoofer Entertainment Treehouse. As always, my name is Scarfy.
I am Naka.
And I'm Krüz.
And we will hope to see you guys again come February 2020.
Stay
February
awesome.
2020
on this channel. Come in about hour and a half over on twitch.tv/RKD_Subwoofer. Scarfy, if he would like to tweet that out.
Yes, I
And
will do.
probably
I will
pin
do
that
so.
at the top or something like that of our Twitter.
John.